Hey everyone, this is Louis7 and I am streaming the Lord of the Rings Online today, and I will be continuing my Wildwood preparation, but what's going to be odd is I'm going to be playing a low-level champion, much lower level than Wildwood. So as Maruli and Swift Arrow asked before the stream started, and Salty's Grunt answered correctly, Wildwood is going to be a level 45 zone. But I am on my level 15 champion because there is going to be a new quest line for the Old Forest that is a level 20 quest line. It goes along with the new Woe of the Willows instance, I think. I think that's the name of the instance, but there's an instance in Wildwood that's going to start at level 20. It'll scale up to 130. And there will be a quest chain associated with that that is a level 20 quest chain. So that is what I'm going to be getting this character ready for, so I can do it on level. And I noticed that there is no in-game audio being captured on OBS, so I have to do a minute to fix that. So, I believe this one, y'all should be able to hear the, yeah, okay. So the in-game audio should be working. And this character is level 15, but I thought I would do Barrow Downs on this character. I like doing a lot of things under leveled in LOTRO because it adds a little bit of difficulty and fun to me. And Wizco, are you asking for the champion if the red line does the most damage, or you are saying the red line does the most damage? And for either point, I will plan to actually be testing that today on this character. And while I'm getting a little bit settled and started here, just for some background, for anybody that doesn't know, for the Barrow Downs, there are all these quests that you don't get in the Barrow Downs, but you have to actually go here to find them. Back in the very old days of LOTRO, I didn't even know these quests existed for the Barrow Downs until I actually ventured here. I was like, oh, there are a bunch of extra quests for the Barrow Downs that I never knew about. And these are for the Minute Bree reputation as well. You'll get a lot of stuff with that. So for anybody unfamiliar, this is where those quests are, and they're very helpful if you plan to go through Barrow Downs on a character, just because you get all those extra quests and stuff. I believe this character, the last time I played him like on a stream or anything, we were doing a sort of leveling contest thing with my kinship. He is Louis the champion. Let's see, my best way to travel is probably just to travel to the Barrow Downs by myself. It's not that slow of an adventure. And also for this character, I crafted him some gear. I believe it was level 15 armor or something. Oh, I don't even have it equipped. So I did make this character some armor, just because I really like crafting my character's armor. So I'll go ahead and equip all of that. I believe there should be, it looks like I crit a couple of the pieces. And I also should have some weapons. I really cannot see where I'm traveling. So with the champion, I know the whole dual wield versus two-hander thing is mainly that some skills are better with dual wield and some are better for two-hander, but I much prefer the animations and just the playstyle of dual wielding, so that is what I always try to do on my champions, even if for like whatever spec red line versus yellow line it's not the best. For tanking, however, which I actually do enjoy on the champion, two-hander is a lot better than dual wield because you can block with a two-handed weapon in the blue line, but I do not plan to be tanking today, so I shouldn't run into any issue with that. And Wizco, you said that you were saying that red line does the most damage. That is good to know. And my alt crafted my armor, Marulian, so I have a bunch of alts on the server. My guardian crafted the armor. This character is an explorer. The tailor is probably ranked up a little bit just to consume some leathers that I had on this character or something, or to get a little bit of XP, but mainly forester and prospector. All of my low level alts that aren't my main crafters, like basically all my new alts, they are explorers, basically just gatherers. Alright, so it will take me a minute to actually get traveled where I need to go to start Barrow Downs, but while I'm doing that, I can see if there are any old quests I have. Wow, that quest is one wolf pelt away. I feel like I should keep it just in case I actually finish it. Even the bear pelts, there's a small chance I could actually do something like that. I feel like they changed the landscape so much here. I don't know if there was one big update or a couple updates they have done that changed the landscape around this area, but I know especially on the eastern side of the Barrow Downs, they made it a lot more accessible to travel in and out of there. But yeah, it's been a long time, I think, since I've done Barrow Downs on YouTube or on a stream or anything. So it's a very exciting place, I think, especially going under-leveled again like I am. I'm level 15, and this place has a bunch of 18 to 20s. And yes, Marulian, I am on the Legendary server. I'm on Anor on this character. That is where basically all of my alts are. So as I've talked about a lot with my content, I think there's a quest to find Lalia. If I remember correctly, there might not actually be, so I will skip that for now. Plus I would want to get all the other quests anyway, since there are a lot of things around here that I'd want. And yeah, as far as yellow line versus red line, I really don't know at this level. I think when I was playing this character before, like in the leveling contest, red line was faster than yellow line, but I was also not really getting much opportunity to do AoE pulls. So if I can do big AoE pulls, yellow line would of course go through that faster, but just going through single target, red line should be faster with that. Hello, Salmon Fire, and Malithor as well. I also, for anybody that doesn't know, posted a mini channel update into like whatever the community thing YouTube posts are. So for anybody that didn't see that, actually I wanted to talk about that while traveling. I kind of forgot, but basically I plan to stream actually every day this week, and I think I decided on Saturday is when I can do a longer stream, like one of those all-day type streams similar to what I did with Louisden and Minas Morgul. I'll probably try to do Wildwood content with that. So yeah, I need to kill a bunch of things, but again, I want to actually start with Lalia, and there is a quest to find her, so that is perfect. And I believe I should basically kill everything that I see along the way. Wow, this character is going to be really strong compared to what he used to be. I think once I got this weapon while I was questing on him, he got a lot better, but just because I crafted him armor and a bunch of things, that will be a huge improvement. It's kind of odd. I feel like I've been playing a lot of characters, or a lot of classes rather, that I don't really play too frequently. So like Champion, this is a class I can definitely enjoy the gameplay of, but it's one that I think can also get boring quickly. But it's been such a long time since I've done like a regular questing type adventure on a Champion, so I'm interested to see how this goes with this character. And hello, Rob's surname. And yes, Wildwood is set to be released this week. My guess is either Wednesday or Thursday. It could be Thursday because that is when the Spring Festival starts, so they might do like a maintenance and then have both of those start at the same time. Or I'm actually guessing Wednesday as a possibility. So Wildwood is released, we have all the stuff for Spring Festival that's coming with Wildwood, and then they can just turn the festival actually on Thursday. Don't know for sure that that's how it will work, but that is maybe what I'm hoping, because it would be nice if it was released on Wednesday. And yeah, Justin, captains can definitely get away doing two-handed weapons. Captains should not necessarily be dual wielding. They actually can't dual wield. It's possible you have the class confused with another one, like the Champion here can do either dual wield or two-handed weapon. And one thing you might be referring to with the captain is for the tanking and healing line, the most optimal would be to use a one-handed weapon and a shield, but not dual wielding, since they can't do that. So that's possibly what you saw in one of my videos. Unless I totally messed up, I could have just misspoke about the captain. Let's see, what did I get? Got new deed, so I don't need to look at the mail or anything. Well, she found her cloak. That is good. I really do like the champion compared to what it used to be. Is the animations are a lot faster. That's one of the things that used to really bother me about champion. Also compared to Guardian, another melee class that I actually enjoy the DPS line. I really enjoy DPS on Guardian, even if it isn't the most viable or it's a lot weaker than champion. But a lot of their skills, or all their skills rather, are labeled as fast, so they have a little bit less delay. I think the delay for non-fast skills has also been cut very much so in the past few years with general like gameplay updates they have done. But that is a lot of the stuff that used to bother me about champion. That's why I'm actually excited to be trying this character again and doing some low-level stuff. Again, it might seem weird since I am doing Wildwood preparation, but for anybody that didn't catch that, there is a new quest chain coming in Wildwood that is actually a level 20 quest chain in the Old Forest, and that is what I am doing with this character. And yeah, basically all my streams recently have fit into this Wildwood prep mini stream series that I'm trying. Didn't know if Savage Strikes was actually that weak, but I just somehow think I didn't get that much damage out of it. Sort of similar damage to Brutal Strikes. I think this is one of the... I can actually highlight these two skills switching between two-handed and dual wield. So if I do a two-handed weapon here, Savage Strikes gets an extra attack and dual wield. So if I... Here, I should actually put them where they belong. The bottom is the two-handed weapon, which I should switch back to dual wield since I do prefer that. But this shows why Savage Strikes is a better skill to use dual wielding, because you get that extra attack. But then Brutal Strikes with the two-handed weapon, it will all do more damage. All the damage there is calculated off the main hand, and the main hand's going to be stronger with a two-handed weapon. And on top of that, even the third attack is going to be main hand, so Brutal Strikes is a lot stronger with a two-handed weapon, while Savage Strikes is a lot stronger with dual wield. So that kind of... I feel like I went over this exact thing when I played the champion last doing the leveling race again, but that just highlights the difference between dual wield and two-hander, I think, pretty well. Wizco, you asked if I had an extra $200 a week, what would I spend it on, and what would be useful? I guess you are referring to $200 spending on LOTRO, unless you mean in general. It's kind of quiet here. I wonder if something's off with my audio. No, everything seems to be set. Wow, she just had to travel a few more steps. So I think I already did the Unfortunate Traveler. Thought there might have been another quest item here, but I could just be mixing up with the extra Traveler. So if I had an extra $200 a week in general, that is a good question. Yeah, I would probably save the money. Okay, so as far as quests go, I can basically go anywhere and everywhere and I'll be able to do something. There are a lot of quests around here, so there are a bunch of barrows on the east side that I need to visit, I know. So I will go ahead and do that. There might even be one right here, I don't remember. So basically, my usual strategy with the Barrow Downs is to just run around randomly and do stuff. And today I think my structure will be going, what is that, clockwise, going down this way. Hello, Anthony King. Said you've been watching a ton of my videos and you're starting to get into the game. Ooh, this mob is level 20. That should give me a little bit more challenge just because he'll deflect a lot more. Makes combat take a little bit longer. I know that's actually one thing I always talk about, wanting maybe combat, wanting it to be a little bit longer on my characters, and then I go and craft this character some really good gear. Not even necessarily, it is really good gear, but just crafted gear in general is really good. I just made like the level 15 crafted set. But all the crafted gear, all the low level crafted gear is very strong in LOTRO. But it's just very hard for me. When I have the resources to make a character better, it's very hard for me to just totally ignore that, unfortunately. Even if I would like maybe a little bit of a slower pace in combat, I just am the type of player, I guess, that I just always want to optimize myself with what I have, basically without doing any major sort of grinding. But with the videos, let's see, Anthony, you had a question. You're a big fan of using two-handed swords. And so the champion actually just talked about that a minute ago, probably right before you joined the stream. Some skills are stronger with two-handed weapons and some are stronger with dual wield. So for example, Savage Strikes is an attack that is stronger dual wield, and Brutal Strikes is an attack that is stronger with two-handed weapons. So in general, if you're not doing anything very difficult, you can just use whatever you want or whatever you have the best options for. So in general, I prefer dual wield for the animations and stuff. It just always feels better to me dual wielding on a champion. But you can definitely use a two-handed sword if you want. The most optimal route for the more difficult content in LOTRO, like thinking towards endgame, and I think especially tier 3+, that seems to be the cutoff of when you need to start optimizing your character a lot more and your gameplay a lot more. When you get to that, you would actually want to weapon swap. It's not a mechanic I'm a fan of at all, basically. So you'd actually swap for certain skills to a two-handed weapon and certain skills you would dual wield. But anyway, long story in short, I think two-handed sword is fine for you. And Tovs, I have no idea about the brawler. I would guess it would be available for LOTRO points, but one thing, I actually have a little bit of a suspicion on that now that you mention it, is they mentioned they want it to be ready for like if you pre-order Gundabad, as if the brawler would come with Gundabad, but if you pre-order Gundabad and they have the class actually ready in time, that would basically give you early access to the class. So my guess is they would probably, if that is the way it works, they would probably have it available for LOTRO points like at a later time and have it just come with the Gundabad to make you buy the Gundabad expansion basically to get the class. But that is I do not know where that sentence was going, to be honest, but yeah, that is just a possibility. It's something they have not formally announced anything like that. It's just something I'm kind of thinking could be the case. Okay, this might be a slightly dangerous fight for me. I might have to actually use my heal, and I have no idea how strong that heal is. Actually, okay, that's a lot of health at this level. I think in all my high level champion gameplay I've done recently, that does not heal all that much, but it's a very huge heal for this character. And Anthony, about macroing the weapon swapping, technically you cannot, and I think it would break the terms of service if you use a third-party program too. So there's no macroing like that in the game, and you would have to use a third-party resource to do that. And again, I think, as far as I know, that would be against the terms of service for LOTRO, so you would risk getting banned for doing that. And you would have to manually weapon swap, but you can put keybinds to weapons. So one thing is you could basically put dual wield weapon in these slots and then just use whatever keybinds for that before you use an attack. It's a little bit just giving you extra buttons in a way. That is something, I actually tried doing that on one of my characters, but ultimately did not really like it. Mainly because weapon swapping just doesn't make sense and I'm not a fan of that mechanic. Yeah, Patrick, that is in text version basically what I was trying to say there. That is my suspicions at least. But yeah, again, just speculation on my part with that. No official word on it. And I do not even know what I'm looking for. I guess because I'm low level, I'm level 15, I just feel like I should have more stuff on my bars and I was looking for things to drag there. I did see potions though. Definitely could use those. And then Wisco, you asked if I like D&D, and I do. I actually play with a couple friends. We have a campaign going. I have a sorcerer who I believe just leveled up to 11 or something around there. I really don't know what I'm doing in this barrow. Just whenever I do Barrow Downs and go through these barrows, I just go to the end of them and do whatever is in them. There are a lot of them I don't think you necessarily need to do that. This one will be good for Barrow Spider Slayer. And even getting barrow shards. I suspect I could get the barrow shards in a lot of places, but yeah, the Spider Slayer deeds, I can get good progress on those right here. And by the way, the goal for this stream, I think, is to finish the Barrow Downs. I would like to get level 20. It's possible I won't. And it's also possible I won't actually finish the Barrow Downs, but the goal is to at least get finished with the questing. Maybe sort of similar to the Hunter, I could go back and do deeds. And then the other thing is, if I do get finished early on in the stream and still have more time to do stuff, basically before I get to falling asleep time, then I actually might go on my Hunter and do some of the Trollshaw's deeds. And this was probably not a good idea to just run in there while I was low on morale, but that is okay. I will focus on the ads, use my heals, use my potions. Say use my heals like I'm something with actual heals. I have one heal, and it's on a 30-second cooldown, I think, or 20-second, that's a little bit better. Alright, we just have the signature. I don't really know why these mobs are called rare signatures, because they're always here. I wonder if it's something left over from back in the day, or they actually changed it, or then maybe they're called rare just because they're shard droppers. There are a few people that logged in on my kin I did not notice. Looks like I got 2 of my quest items. There are a bunch of those throughout the different barrows. But yeah, it's kind of funny with Barrow Downs way back in the day. Again, I did not know about these extra quests, the Cardalin Minabri reputation quests, and I never also went into these barrows. And it's a little bit weird. The main barrow I really considered in the Barrow Downs was Great Barrow, but it turns out there are actually a lot of barrows here and a lot of evil enemies in them. If I was killing things fast, I would actually stay here to kill all these. Okay. No, I need to not do this. I think I'm going to the exit. I honestly have no idea where the exit is anymore, but I think I'm going the right way. And it might be time. This is actually the situation. If I were 1 level higher, I would definitely switch to yellow line. I just wouldn't be too comfortable doing AoE. The AoE spec in particular, with me being 5 levels under, just because, wow. Okay, let me use some potions, because I really would rather not die here. Maybe I don't have those potions. That is fine. Oh, I just backed up into another spider. Okay, let me see what I have on me. I have 1 healthy spider and 1 low health spider. Okay, run through them. They did about half my health. Okay, I will not be running that way, but I will be running this way. What I am looking for is either waiting for my potion cooldown and also waiting for my morale to regenerate. I think my potion's about off cooldown. There we go. That was a little bit of a mess. Way too much of a mess, actually. Ooh, I can actually have a skill to shoot my bow. And now I think I can switch to yellow line and run through all this. And I also have high health this time, so let's try just that. Wow, this is actually something yellow line seems to get a lot stronger with traits. I don't think this is bad. Comparing it to red line, of course, I still have more AoE, but it's just something I notice a lot more on the yellow line champion. I guess once I get Raging Blade, that is going to be a huge skill for me to get. Wow. I feel like well, not recently I haven't been making guides, but I'm always making guides for LOTRO. The past months before this year, basically. And I would talk a lot about low-level gameplay because I would sometimes play some of these classes at low level and level them up a little bit, and I would make a guide on that class and I'd be able to actually use that low level experience. But for a class like the champion, this is giving me some really good insights about the specs at these levels right here. It looks like I have one more little AoE situation I can try. But just for example, again with the yellow line champion, the big thing I noticed immediately is the lack of Raging Blade, especially. I know they even get other skills like this one's really strong, Fury of Blades, but it's just kind of crazy compared to the red line, which also gets a bunch of strong skills in the traits, I think, such as, maybe they don't get as many. There's one that here it is. So even though the red line gets something like Ferocious Strikes, I just noticed the lack of skills more on the yellow line. And lack of single target damage seemed more noticeable to me compared to high levels again. Okay, so Marillion, you are designing kind of a ranger subclass to emulate, oh, the wardens. Are you talking about in D&D? About emulating a ranger subclass to emulate the Warden's Gambit system? At first I read that as maybe only Warden playing the yellow line to be ranger-like. But yeah, LOTRO's a little bit weird with my classes that I tend to gravitate towards. So in other games, and in general, I like mage-like, kind of sorcerer wizard type classes that use magic, which is like D&D. My character is a sorcerer there, and World of Warcraft, my main character has been a mage. Don't think I've been in this Barrow yet. And this one I think I can collect lore fragments as well. Okay, so yeah, Ranger subclass to emulate the Warden's Gambit system sounds like it could be very interesting at D&D. But yeah, it's kind of odd. That sounds like it should be exciting to me, a Warden type class in D&D, basically, something that's similar to Warden somehow. Should be very interesting to me, but again, it seems like something unique to LOTRO that I actually prefer a lot of the physical classes. Even though I do enjoy Runekeeper and Loremaster, it's just not as extreme that I gravitate completely towards Runekeeper and Loremaster versus other classes. That could just be what I am in the mood for at the moment as well. Oh, I am getting a lot of loot boxes, and I do not want loot boxes. I actually do want 4 of them, so maybe I should keep those until I get 4. So this Barrow, I believe the main thing I would want here are these quest items, the ancient pillars here. So I will run around for those. These mobs actually don't count for any deeds or anything, and I did not mean to use the heal there, but that is okay. I think I just need one more level up and I could switch to the yellow line once again and try out Raging Blade. So I do need to defeat Barrow Wardens. Was that a Barrow Warden? That was a Barrow White. Maybe it said Barrow Whites. I thought it said on the little D description box that I needed to defeat Barrow Wardens, but whatever it was, the decaying Barrow White did count. These mobs are really ugly. This is probably a fight I should have switched to the L line, but it is okay. But yeah, that's just something I noticed. I feel like recently I have paid, I don't know, more attention, but it's just something I have paid extra attention to maybe lately, is how ugly some creatures are in LOTRO. Not ugly in a bad way. I would definitely expect a Barrow White like this to be ugly, especially a decaying Barrow White, but I think they actually do a good job making the characters, or the enemies that are supposed to look ugly, actually do look ugly. Sometimes it just takes zooming in to get the details of like these guys' face for that. And Wizco, about the tulips, for how many... I said the end of the joke first, but what you said with the joke is you asked how many lips does a flower have, and the answer was 2 lips. I actually did like that. I have not heard that before, surprisingly. I feel like this used to be for something. Watcher's Workshop. Seems like it's something significant, especially since you can... It looks like it counts as a forge. Oh, maybe it doesn't count as a forge. Maybe it counts as an anvil. That would make more sense. But I feel like it was probably used to be used for crafting a specific thing back in the day. I think there were things like that. And this just seems like something that would be a part of that, but I don't know for sure. This is a fight where I do think... I really don't know. It's so hard for me to tell without actually doing something like combat analysis. I feel like I've missed a lot of ancient text, which maybe is okay. I also have not pulled the signature yet. I think I need to go this way still. Going through these barrows can definitely be maze-like, especially when you get to the Great Barrow. I even think some people call it the maze. Alright, going to be going here and once again trying out the yellow line. This time a big AoE pull, so that should tell me how much better it is when I have all these mobs against me. Apparently, not good for my health. Oh no, this character died. That is unfortunate. This character has died a bunch of times, so not worried about titles or anything, but I really would have hoped to have not died there. Oh well, I got a reset. Unfortunately, I clicked my potion, but it was just a little bit too late. By the time I was actually going to trigger, I already died. That to me means I should switch back to red line, and again wait till level 17 to actually do the yellow line. Oh yeah, so Salmon Fire, I do the same thing actually with taking screenshots of all the enemies, all the ugly ones especially. I'm trying to incorporate them into thumbnails, which I probably could have done today, but I also like to put my characters in thumbnails, so it's something hard for me to actually do. And then yeah, Hansu's spell casting definitely is great, but as you said, sometimes it is fun to just run up into the face of enemies, and I have nothing to remove that debuff, which is really unfortunate. Alright, I used my own heal, which did heal me that time. And Justin, you asked how the server compares to Arkenstone. So yes, Arkenstone is very populated. Of course, my other server I play on is Arkenstone, but this server, Anor, it has, for example, right now 129 non-anonymous players on. So compared to other servers in general, it is about probably 15 to 20, maybe even 25% the population of the other servers. And then compared to Arkenstone, I don't know the exact like percent or fraction that Anor would have, but yeah, maybe roughly like 20%, 15 to 20% of Arkenstone population. Which sounds like it could be a lot, but I don't know, these servers are weird just because at the same time I feel like they are both well populated for what they are. Particularly Anor is well populated for being a legendary server, I think. But at the same time, it also sometimes is very, very quiet. Like I can go a long time playing and see nothing in world chat, but sometimes people get busy in world chat, and that's not the best way to estimate like the activity on the server, but it is one way. Just comparing to other servers, I noticed that whenever I play another server, which is usually Arkenstone, I always see world chat is more active. And even like right now, I always have world chat up. I usually either ignore it or will occasionally look at it. But it's like quiet now. And hello, Yawning Sloth. I am doing well tonight. I think I mentioned I was hoping to work on a Wildwood related video yesterday, but that did not happen. Oh, I thought I still had a crawler up. Okay, this barrow was very slow for me to go through. I don't remember it being nighttime when I went into the barrow, but now it turned to nighttime. I feel like the best time to actually quest in the Barrow Downs is nighttime because it just adds to the spookiness. Like, this feels like a place I should be going through at night rather than during the day. Okay, lore fragments we should have. I don't know if we have another barrow here. I really don't remember. I feel like there is not a barrow here. And I'll be able to get lore fragments at one of these. Maybe this one? Here it is. And Same Empire, I feel like I'm getting to your message very late, but you said they had whole pages of crafting with trophies. I'm guessing that's referring to the anvil I saw back in the previous barrow, and you said there was a title, the almost from that maybe? Where am I going? Okay, so as far as quests go, it looks like I missed one of the digging in the dirt things. So I actually missed one on the far north. I will get a quest. If I talk to somebody over here, he has a quest. I forget what it is. It's like the Wandering Shade, maybe, is his name. In Vargas, I still need to defeat a few of these. I'll need to defeat a lot of them for deeds, but right now the focus is not going to be on deeds. We'll see how quickly I get through the questing. I know I am slow with questing. That's why I'm holding off too much on farming all the deeds and that stuff. And Same Empire, I am not doing bingo often on this character. I did the first bit of that on my Guardian, and that is all. And then the bottom right of my screen is kin chat, and that is why it is blurred. Right now there's nothing really going on. I could unblur it, so just to show you all, that's the kin chat, but mainly for player privacy, for people that are in my kin that share like personal stuff and don't want it to be on YouTube and all that sort of stuff. That is why it is blurred. And hello Dinjarin as well, who is actually in the kinship, which is, for anybody curious, the Mytho League on Anor. And they are, I say this basically all the time talking about servers, that is the main reason I still do play on the server, is my kinship is here. Okay, so he gave me a quest, I forget exactly what it is for, but I believe I have to go... I really should remember this, it's either the west or the southwest. And we have a visitor on the stream, who is just below the webcam, I think. And right in front of the mic as well. Don't know if she wants to get on my lap, I guess not. Yeah, it is. It took me a minute to actually remember the name of the Wandering Shade, but it's pretty simple because it's a Wandering Shade and the name is the Wandering Shade. Yes, this is correct. The one directly west of him is the one where you can actually find him. And if there's a lot of noise on the microphone, that is my cat rubbing against the mic arm. And Yawning Sloth, for my second favorite class, that would be the Runekeeper. But the thing about the non-warden classes is it really depends on what mood I am and for what I was consider like my favorite or second favorite or third favorite or whatever. Especially after the Runekeeper. In general, I could say the Runekeeper is my second favorite fairly easily, but need to head north here for something. Yeah, the wandering cat has me all distracted right now. I don't think so. My cat used to bother me sometimes during streams. It's a little bit, I don't know, weirder now with the webcam. But right now she is just rubbing against the mic arm, and I feel like it is probably causing some audio issues. It's the main reason. Yeah, I think this is where the Wandering Shade, I should probably talk to him because he'll have me go to the northwest. I really wonder what it's like for somebody to do Barrow Downs for the first time. Because for me, I know where basically everything is if I take a minute to actually think about it. So I have kind of a system of how I go through it a little bit. I don't always go through it the same way. There are a bunch of different ways you could actually go through it, and I do go through it. But just like with the general flow that I am doing right now, it's something I'm so familiar with that actually makes me curious what other people do when going through this. And how much longer it might take. I know I say I'm a slow quester and all that, but it probably takes a lot longer if I had to guess for somebody unfamiliar with a place that hasn't done it before. Just because there is so much going on, and like if I actually had this many quests and had to know what of all them I was doing, it would definitely take a lot longer going through it the first time and actually even knowing which quest was which that I wanted to go through at whatever point. And the Master X-Man a long time ago was talking about trait points, and that's actually something I very much so agree about. Perhaps the most annoying thing about endgame for me is actually trait points. I know a lot of people complain about the legendary item grind, which I am also not a fan of, so don't get me wrong on that, but trait points is the worst to me. And as far as like getting alts up to doing endgame, marrow. I feel like there's something going on with him about bone marrow. He wasn't quite a complete skeleton though. And Finn, I do not believe you're the only one that hates Sarah Oakart. And in fact, I think most people who play LOTRO hate her. Okay, headed northwest. Yeah, that barrow was pretty short. It was basically just the boss, and that was it for that. And yeah, I think for Mithril League, it's a little bit weird with our structure of low-level events, because it seems like we have a focus on our lobby groups. So for people unfamiliar with my kinship, we have a lobby group, which is level capped at 60, doing Moria content pretty inconsistently lately. I was more consistent before Gondor came to the servers. And then we also recently, somebody actually other than the kin leader recently started a grand lobby group, as it's called, for kind of third generation characters, second generation as far as lobby groups go, as far as like slow progression groups go. I should do turn-ins, I think, but I also don't have a lot to turn in, so I will just go ahead and do this anyway. I don't remember if I get another quest from the Old Forest camp or not to go back up here, but I can do this anyway. What I might do is get these barrel whites, because I think I will need to come back up here. I don't remember exactly what for, But I'll need to come back up here and do something, maybe with that chest. Treasures of Cardalin, yeah, that chest. That. For some reason, I think I just said trest instead of chest, and I have no idea what a trest is. Treasure, maybe? I don't know why I would have been thinking treasure, or... That was just such a weird thing for me to say. I have to find out why I said trest. Yeah, probably because it was Treasures of Cardalin, so I said trest instead. And yes, Sarah Orkhart is definitely very slow. I think that's why a lot of people hate her. And as far as the Mithril League, my kinship doing an event like Barrow Downs and questing through it all together, I think that would be fun. But with the structure of our groups and the people who play in the kin, I don't even know why I tried to loot that time since I already knew I couldn't. See, I need one more white. Hopefully this one counts. Okay, so I did defeat those whites. I am ready for most turn-ins. I know the Bargus and the crawlers and rats aren't the most important, but just to clean my quest log a little bit, I wouldn't mind going ahead and trying to do that. We'll see who's hiding behind this rock. I almost wanted to call it a pillar, but I think it's a rock. Oh yeah, so the Master X-Men, that is how I feel about trait points as well. You have a non-Valor 130 Berg who has 71 trait points. I'm in a similar spot with my old 120 characters, non-Valor characters. Some of them even had like 60 trait points, that bad. And that's why it's one of the big things that has frustrated me a lot with LOTRO. I made videos on that. I feel like I should make more videos just on trait points. And yeah, for some characters, some classes, it's definitely very important to have as many trait points as you can get. And like you mentioned, it sounds like for your burglar, you'll need at least 82 for CJ. I think CJ would be conjunction resets for Rim is what you're saying. And yeah, things like that are definitely annoying. I also was bothered by that largely on my hunter, just because the hunter, there are so many valuable traits you can get either in the blue or yellow line. Whatever the optimal build is, it's just always going to be improved with the hunter because there are so many just good general traits that you can always keep on getting. And Finn, unfortunately, I do not have lifetime VIP. I would have loved to have had that. I don't think I've ever actually seen the Wandering Shade this far north. I seem to, every time I meet him, it's usually on the southeast side for some reason. This is actually a rare event for me. And yeah, so Salmon Fire, it's a little bit of work on your end, but there is an add-on. What do they call it in LOTRO? There is a plugin that will track your trait points, but the problem is if you do it on a character that has some trait points already, I don't think it will track what you already have. I have not used this plugin, by the way. I don't really use too many plugins with LOTRO. I probably could use some, but I just don't really do that. So defeat the Bone Man. I'm already on that to the southeast. Wow. Oh, one more lore fragment. Okay, let's go ahead and do that. This is to the northeast, I know. But yeah, there is a plugin for that for somebody that is just starting out or starting a new character that they want to keep track of. But otherwise, what you can do is check the LOTRO wiki, and you would basically have to compare what deeds you have completed and then also what quests you have completed, so you can just check show completed. It's a lot of work there to do that, but wow, is it really already getting towards morning time? Maybe it was night when I started here. Either that or I'm really taking forever with this questing. Either of those is possible. I know I always talk about me questing very slowly, but when it actually turns to morning, way before I expect. I wonder, I think I already went in this barrow. I must have just forgotten to use my pickaxe there. Let me make sure. This should be the one with all the spiders. Yeah, okay, this is it. We don't need to kill these things. We've already killed them. I've already killed them, so they're already dead. But I guess because they're undead and they're a part of the dead, it doesn't really help to kill them again. Like, these are the type of mobs, if you think about mobs respawning in a game like this, these are the type of mobs that it actually makes sense for, I think. Yeah, as far as the lifetime VIP, that definitely was a great deal. I think it's one of the best deals I've ever seen in an MMORPG. And considering how much I have played LOTRO, that would have been a great thing to have, and how much I've like spent on VIP throughout the years. I don't mind spending it, especially doing YouTube and all that. It basically covers the costs of it, which is nice for me, but I want to sell basically everything, so I should lock the stuff I don't want. Here I am hoarding all these crafting things I will never use. Okay, so clean my inventory, do this.
Greetings, friend. What can I do?
Oh yeah, the Master X-Man, that can definitely be a problem if you can't find a kinship. That's kind of how I have been with World of Warcraft. I have not been able to find a guild in the longest while. Do y'all remember when champions could use shields? I don't remember if they used heavy shields or if they used light shields actually, but yeah, back in the day, champions could use shields. Those were crazy times. Okay, flood to the south. I am ready for that, it looks like. Search the... yeah, here's Treasures of Cardalin. Looks like we have a silver deposit I can mine here. And Naz, this is your favorite class, the champion. It is one I have always put whenever I think of my rankings of my favorite classes. Champion is usually one towards the bottom. I don't know if I'm hoping that changes today, as in I want to like the champion more, but I'm hoping I continue to enjoy the champion. So far it's been pretty fun. My main problem with the champion, whenever I talk about it, is that after playing it for a long while, that's when it usually gets a little bit more boring to me. We have a different visitor this time. This one should be less distracting. I think the things with the cats being active right now is I recently vacuumed. That usually sends them hiding for a while, and then they're like super curious what was going on. So they gotta check everything out. Okay, so we have a couple large barrows here, if I remember correctly. At least one of them is very large. So Sametfire, your champion was your last to reach 130, but it's also become your favorite. That is a good turnaround. If I don't know if it was like your least favorite before you leveled it, but that is good. Also with the champion, I talked about this at some point earlier, but it's a class that there used to be some issues with it that made me dislike it, and actually they have made a lot of improvements to the class to make the gameplay more fluid. I always felt like there was some very clunky slowness going on with the champion that bothered me, especially comparing it to other classes. Again, the Guardian was actually an example. The gameplay on the Guardian used to feel a lot smoother, but I think they've made enough updates to animations, and they have, I don't know, completely removed, but at least very much so limited, reduced the delay between skills a lot more. I think the gameplay is a lot more fluid now, so if I actually stuck with a champion and did a questing adventure like this, like exactly what I'm doing now basically, it, I think is a lot more fun than what it used to be, and this will give me a good chance, kind of similar to the Hunter, to just like play it. Because usually when I would play classes like this, it would be for a specific purpose, for like doing videos or whatever. So for some of these classes, like again, Champion and Hunter, especially recently, the two classes I've been playing more, they, I think it's just really good for me to actually sit down and do a big questing adventure like this. Actually just do normal leveling stuff with them for me to get a better feel of the class now. Because whenever I have played my high level champions, I have thought it was a lot more fun than it used to be. And that's almost a problem because the more I enjoy these different classes, the even more of an altaholic I want to be, and the more I want to spread my time thin between all these different characters. So I kind of hate to say it in a way, but I almost consider it problematic that I'm basically enjoying the champion right now. And even with my hunter, it's almost problematic that I'm enjoying the hunter, even though that one's actually good because I'm going to be going through Wildwood on the hunter. And this character I'll be doing the Woe of the Willow quest chain in Old Forest. Which for all I know, that quest chain could be like 2 quests long. I am hoping that's not the case, but it is possible. And then Yawning Sloth, you have been enjoying your High Elf Captain. Yeah, when the Captain came to the High Elves, I didn't dislike Race of Man Captain. But I prefer High Elves in general. So it's nice to have an Elf Captain. I guess I went through this barrow. This one must be the short one, because I'm pretty sure there is a much larger barrow in this area. I feel like this should be very scary. Like, I'm just here and there's a skeleton that I have to fight, and then 2 of these wights just pop out of the ground as archers and start shooting their bows at me. I really do feel like back in the day, I don't remember specifically doing Barrow Downs and having a lot of trouble with it, or particularly not having trouble with it. I probably did have trouble with it. I probably died a lot here. But yeah, I feel like this is a back in the day type thing when landscape used to be more difficult, that this was probably a really tough area, and when those 2 wights, for example, there popped up, it was probably a lot more dangerous. Okay, so yeah, there is a large barrow in the southern Barrow Downs, but this is the one I was thinking a larger open space here. So I don't know if there's actually anything I need to do in here, to be honest. I just like going through all these barrows again, investigating them. I am level 18, and I mentioned I could try the yellow line at level 17. I somehow leveled up again. I guess turning in all those quests, that probably got me a good amount of the XP. But I want to test out Yellow Line now that I have Raging Blade. This should be a good amount of extra damage. Looks like it doesn't do a whole bunch of damage on its own, but in combination with everything else I have, I think having that 1 more AoE and being higher level so few of my attacks miss, it'll just be really helpful having that. That does appear to be the case right now. Yeah, hopefully, I really should be able to get to all the barrows, all the ones in Southern Barrow Downs as well, and we can check those out. I know there's the really big one, it's like called Eorcath or something. I don't remember the exact name, but that's just all I could think of for the actual name of it. And in that one, maybe even this one, you get like level 45 loot, because I don't know if the actual barrows back in the day they actually had like level 50 mobs in them. But I know you still get that level loot, which is very odd. But yeah, anybody that's just starting LOTRO and is about level 20, if you want a random tip on how to get a bunch of level 45 Scholar Mats, that is how you can get it. You can go to the Southern Barrow Downs, and there is one of the barrows there. I don't remember exactly which one of those, but you'll get a bunch of Scholar Mats, I know, for that level. I think it is the Artisan tier, if I remember correctly. That's what you loot. Now, one thing I don't remember is how or if you can get up there. And if you can get up there in this barrow, here it is, actually there are steps right here. I think, unless these are the steps back to the entrance. But it is possible that there's another barrow that you can enter that will take you to the other paths. And I feel like I should kill these spiders. Again, not focusing too much on deeds, but I still want to take my time to do all the exploring that I want to do. I should move that there. One thing I want to make sure is I actually have all my skills on my skill bar, and I think I'm missing my heal. Unless the online champion, do they not? Here it is, bracing attack. I thought they got this. And then I do have a character of every class. I have a character of every class on Arkenstone and a character of every class on Anor. So I have at least 2 characters of every class, actually. So I went in that barrow, I went in this barrow. I really thought there was a way to get to the upper part there. Maybe not, or maybe there was actually a way in that barrow, but it's not the most important thing. It'd still be nice. I wonder how much damage Rin does over time. Actually does a decent amount. It is possible that they just have enemies there and there's not actually a barrow, even though for some reason I'm remembering being able to get up there, but we will ignore that for now, I guess, and do some turn-ins. Which, as far as turn-ins go, oh, I'm still in show completed. Completed 41 quests on this character. So defeat Bone Man, that is way to the south. These are a couple turn-ins. Looks like I got my ores untracked. So Finn, I have one of each class that is level 120 plus, and most of those actually came from Valor. So during the last Black Friday sale, the Valors were like 75% off or something. So I got one for each class basically that I did not have up to that point. And even though I don't play them much, it was a very worthy investment of my LOTRO points. I fortunately did not have to buy LOTRO points for that. That was going to be the cutoff. I wasn't going to actually buy LOTRO points because I pay like my subscription and all that. I'd never feel the need to buy LOTRO points. And I just save up my LOTRO points so I was actually able to use that on something useful. Even though, again, I haven't played those characters too much, so it does feel odd that they're just sitting there. But yeah, so I have all those that are high level that I don't really actively play, as odd as that is. And then I have a bunch of leveling ones similar to Hunter and Champion. Some are higher level, some are closer to Champion level on this server on Anor here. In the Master X-Man, I have not tried Rimmer Chant Tier 3. I have not actually even done a full run of Rimmer Chant, and I think the main reason for that is because by the time I came back to LOTRO in later 2020, it was already getting to be War of Three Peaks time, so like my kinship on Arkenstone wasn't really running, and I could probably get them to run it if I really wanted to, but just never was able to quite get anything to line up to do a full run. I have run the first boss though. That was exciting to actually do. So yeah, I'm not sure if I will get to running that before Gundabad. It definitely would interest me. I feel like I'm definitely missing something big for level 130 because I haven't done the big multi-boss raid. Which by multi-boss, technically the Amdan Damol, what is that called? The Bloody Threshold, that one, the War of Three Peaks raid is technically multi-boss because it has 2 bosses, but I mean one of the larger scale multi-boss raids. I know Tier 1, at least I've heard Tier 1, the first boss on Tier 1 was super easy, so there's no like a reason as far as my character's gear goes or my lack of knowledge as far as the boss fights go that would sway me against it. Again, I definitely think it would be a fun thing to do, but just have not gotten to it. It's something when the legendary servers go there would definitely be interested in running it with my kin, of course. But that's also another problem because I mainly play on Anor besides just doing new content on Louisden. I am, as far as like indie game goes, I'm usually invested to running content with my kinship here, and of course on Anor we don't have Rumor Chant yet. So it's a little bit odd because I really probably would not play on the server at all if my kinship weren't here.
What's your need?
And it's such a significant part of the game for me having a kinship, especially one I like so much,
Might I take a moment to
that it's not really something I'd switch completely to Arkenstone for with this kinship being active.
Stay a moment.
Even though
Could I speak
I would
to
say
you?
overall the indie game content that is currently on Arkenstone, I would definitely be way more interested in compared to the current content we have on Anor. And that's especially been true between Riders of Rohan and Helm's Deep, a little bit less so with Gondor, but I think once we get Throne of the Dread Terror at 105 and even the Mordor stuff and Grey Mountains, is that what it's called? Arid Mithrin? That raid, I think all that will be pretty fun on the server, so I am excited to go through all that, especially Mordor and Arid Mithrin. I did not do either of those raids. I think Anvil of Winter's Death was one of them. I'm thinking that was the Arid Mithrin raid, and then I have no idea what I'm doing for these quests. I don't even know if I finished all my quests up into the Northern Barrow Downs. I was just kind of assuming I was ready for a new place, which it does look to be the case. So yeah, once these servers go and we have Abyss of Mordrith, or whatever it's called, I just know these by their first name, Abyss and then Anvil. Once we get those raids, I think it'll be exciting on the server as far as raid content goes. But again, because of my investment on the server and the kinship here, that means I have a lot less activity as far as like Arkenstone goes. Even though I still check out the new content, and when like new raids will be released, like the Update 30 raid, I'll definitely be interested in doing that with my kinship. I kind of feel bad with that kin because, again, I mainly play on Anor, so I feel like I'm almost burdening the kinship to have them take me on a run like that because I haven't been too active with them. So it's just overall something a little bit odd. And I don't know why I'm opening my inventory here. One thing I noticed on this character is I seem to have a lack of consumables. I really don't need these boosts, but they would free up my inventory a lot if I just use those. They're pretty minor ones you get from the little leveling box things. But there is a barrow here. That much I know I can do here in the Southern Barrow Downs is go to the barrows. That's always a good target, it seems like, when you're new to Barrow Downs, is go to the barrows. And we're actually making pretty good progress just a little over an hour into the stream, and I'm already in the Southern Barrow Downs, so again, as much as I like to feel like I'm questing slowly, I don't know that that's always actually the case. A couple of these should have a lot tougher content in them, especially I think the Southern Barrow Downs ones should run into more signatures. I think even potentially some of the rare mobs will be more difficult, which, speaking of that, I missed one of the barrows in the Northern Barrow Downs because I remember that one having, I don't know if it was an Elite Master, but it'll have a tougher mob, that much I remember. So I need to, after this barrow, remember to go back up to that, just because I cannot leave the Northern Barrow Downs unfinished before I go to the Southern one. Okay, here I can start getting some Grave Moss as well. That's one of those Cardinal Minabe reputation ones. And also the Master X-Men, that's actually, other than the kinship, one thing I do prefer about Anor is the lessened grind. Right now we still have the trait points issue on Anor, or we got to that in West Rohan. And we definitely still have it, and that'll kind of continue being an issue. And hello, Jeremy Fernandez. But as far as grinds go, they're less on Anor, so that is a little bit convenient that there's less grinding. I am not the biggest fan of grinding. I can definitely see there being a grind for gear and things like that, but virtues, legendary items, and trait points, those are 3 grinds that I'm not as big of a fan of for end game grinding. hopefully there will be more videos on those topics soon. I've been a bit bad about doing the endgame and LOTRO, continuing that. I almost feel like one reason I haven't done too much of that is, besides the lack of time in doing other videos, is if I think about doing that, those videos are mainly going to be complaining about things like grinds, and that's really the first one. I try not to go too much into it, but that seemed very random. Did the Sparrow Hound just like walk from inside the walls or something, or did he just appear here, or was he there the whole time, or like spawn there? It was just very weird. I saw a little dot coming towards me on the minimap. Kind of spooky. But as far as endgame goes, outside of the grind and all those issues, I do like the content a lot. Don't think I need any of those cloaks. Or the captain banner. Somebody was leaking in Kin chat, actually it was Diadem or Dingerian there from the stream chat, who is in the kinship again. They were linking some stuff if people wanted that, and yeah, definitely don't want any of that for this character, but my other characters I do not think can use that either. But that was the random items popping up. Keenwood bat. That does look like a decent bat, actually. Looks like I got a deed complete. That is also one thing nice about low-level characters compared to high-level characters. It seems like you complete deeds at a higher rate just because content in general seems to go faster. Deeds, of course, require fewer kills and all that sort of stuff. So you complete Slayer deeds quicker, exploration deeds. Usually the zones, area door zones, are smaller than a lot of the high-level zones. So you can also explore areas faster. And it just seems like the faster progression means you get LOTRO points faster, so that is one nice thing. I am, once again though, a hoarder of LOTRO points, so it's not something I care too much about, but it is nice playing a character like this that I'll slowly build up my LOTRO points. I do have 3,400 right now, 3,426. Again, I just hoard my LOTRO points. I don't really spend them unless they're very good sales, and I probably... I don't know, just something like that, a premium currency like that the only way I could get it is either through very slow grinding or actually buying LOTRO points, and I don't want to buy LOTRO points, is I just save it because I only want to get stuff that I feel like I really need. Even though getting something like increased wardrobe slots and increased shared storage slots I think would be really nice. See, I want to switch to AoE for this fight. There's a dog barking. It sounds like kind of similar to the Bargus here. Actually, the Bargus sounds almost more like a wolf than I would say a dog, which I guess is pretty similar. And when I say it sounds more like a wolf than a dog, I have never actually met a wolf in real life, at least that I remember, and I feel like it's something I would remember. So I am comparing it to actually wolves in games like this. Hearing wolf noises versus dog noises, basically. Alright, this Barrow, I am basically just running around killing things, and as fun as that is, I really should get back to doing some actual quests. I know there's still grave moss that I need, unless I finish that. I actually finished the grave moss, so no need to worry about that anymore. And I'm still getting all the white kills. I think I've been able to kill Bargus, so it wasn't like a waste of time being here. I can just head out now that I went through a full circle, I think. Alright, so before I forget, even though I think there is a Barrow, I don't remember if that one's enterable. Maybe all three of these are enterable. But before I do that, I want to go back to the northern Barrow Downs again before I forget, and make sure I go to this barrow right here. this is where I got the screenshot for the thumbnail around here. If anybody's curious, the screenshot in the background of the thumbnail. And hello, Ivan Stainer. And one thing that's very weird is we had the time change here in the US. We went to daylight savings time, which overall I think I prefer daylight savings times over standard time. And what I do know that I don't like is really the time change. It's an annoying thing overall to me, but what was I going on about? Oh yeah, so it is 8:18 for me, and it feels like it should be 6 o'clock, so it feels like a very weird time. It just feels very early to me for, like I'm streaming way earlier than I usually do, which is not the case right now, but it just feels very weird because of that. I think part of the reason is the time change, so before yesterday, it would be 7:18 my time, and it would be an hour earlier. But another factor is it is not really light outside anymore, but it is somewhat light. And definitely light a lot later than it used to be. Okay, so here is where I actually do have to be careful, and I'll probably, just for safety, switch to red line and make sure I actually get one of these things. This is probably my favorite trait for the champion, just because I am always a fan of attacking faster. Especially with a class like this. I talked about all the animation improvements and how they have improved the animation time, but getting all that to go faster is definitely a welcome thing to me. And yes, Finn Konzelman, I am in Central Time. Which is nice for me because I am usually somebody who goes to bed earlier and wakes up earlier, like relatively compared to a lot of people I know basically, so like right now it's 8:20 and it'd be 9:20 Eastern time, which is where I used to live. But yeah, it's actually nice being in an earlier time zone to me. So Master X-Men, you're talking about problems of endgame. Oh, besides the grind is lack of encouragement of PvMP or leveling at alt. Yeah, there is one thing with leveling and alt. I think one problem is the grind, and there are not a lot of account-wide unlocks. So this is an elite master. That's what I was thinking it was. So this fight could be tough for me. I'm going to have to do a lot of damage. That's basically the thing. I have a couple heals I can use. One of the heals is a potion, so I should use the heals early on. That way their cooldown can start ticking. That is one thing sometimes I don't fully think about. That is important to think about. Is use the heal early so its cooldown is going, and then I can maybe use it, for example, in this fight twice overall, versus if I just saved it for when I was really low on health, I'd only be able to use it once. But the fight is going very well. I do have a potion I can use. This one I'll go ahead and use. The potion's actually not even as strong as my heal, I don't think, which is something unusual compared to what I'm used to with the champion. Make sure I use Remorseless Strike while I had the fervor for it. I think I'll use my heal one more time and I should be safe. There we go. And it looks like I need to, well, I have all these boxes, all these year gift boxes. That's the type of stuff on a new character that just floods my inventory usually. These loot boxes I want to filter because I don't want to loot anymore, but from these year gift boxes I'll ultimately get 4 black steel keys, I think is what they're called now. So those will be nice, and I will save 4 loot boxes for that, but otherwise want to filter it, and then I can use this to free up some inventory space. Even the 10% out of combat run speed, that'd actually be helpful right now. Can even reduce item wear. There we go, got a bunch of stuff, but don't need all these tools. I can actually destroy all these. See, that's a lot of inventory space, just a lot of lower level / newish character stuff that can just be destroyed. Even these things, I can go ahead and use all those. I won't use Smell the Roses, but I can have these little swan kite things. These are from, I think, one of the Mordor things, these kites. It's kind of funny, you can carry them around in combat even. They're just cosmetic pets, but they're a little bit different because they are kites and they have that string and all that. But anyway, now we are actually done with the Northern Barrow Downs now that I got that Elite Master. I don't know that I needed him for anything. There could be, I don't remember specifically, but there could be deeds associated with killing each of those named mobs there. As far as deeds go, Brigand Slayer is actually almost done. That's something unrelated to Barrow Downs that I could try to do on this character. Actually probably be best doing that in skirmishes because it'd be relatively easy doing that and wouldn't have to go out of my way. Executioner of the Wicked. I think this is the one. So Gotham and then Hod Earkith. Those are the two I need for the named mobs there. So there is a deed, and that will get me 10 LOTRO points, and I can become Executioner of the Wicked, which compared to an untitled character, that is definitely good. And Finn, as far as LOTRO on a MacBook, I do not believe the LOTRO client works anymore on... I can't even think of the operating system that's called, but whatever the Mac/Apple operating system, it does not work because that is 64-bit only. And LOTRO, while it has a 64-bit client, the launcher needs to be on a 32-bit thing, or it is 32-bit, I think. And Ivan Stainer, thank you for joining the stream, and as always, thank you for being a channel member and all the support, being a channel member on 2 accounts, and a Mithril tier channel member there. So I appreciate that, and again, thank you for joining this stream, and I hope you enjoy your night as well. But as far as LOTRO on a MacBook, there are some workarounds. You can, I think, get a Windows emulator, basically, and run LOTRO on that. And that is how people do that. There are people in my kinship that do that, actually. They play on Macs, but have to emulate Windows. I think Wine, I always hear that come up, so I think that's something people use for that. Which, if I had to guess, this is actually something I have not looked into at all. Wine would stand for Windows Emulator. It's entirely possible that is not the case. That was a very long stun, but these are the artisan mats you can actually get in these barrows here. I don't think, I didn't kill the named mob, did I? That was just 3 signatures, okay. They put a lot of debuffs on me in that previous fight. I also believe I'm standing in a bad pool there. Finn, that does sound like a troll type thing about Standing Stones trying to create a mobile LOTRO. I know Turbine actually made progress on a console version of LOTRO, where they were working on it to a point where they decided that it would not be worth continuing to work on. But other than that, I don't think there's anything mobile related to LOTRO and Standing Stone games. Turbine was a long time ago. The main reason the console thing came up again is because of the NAB Global 7 press release or investors. I always forget exactly what it was, but something like a shareholders presentation. Travel to Lonelands. We do not want to do that. We will cancel that quest. Also getting master tier scholar items here. So yeah, if you're working on the artisan tier of scholar and the master tier maybe, and you're low level, you're like level 20 and really want to get those mats for some reason, this is the place to go. These barrows here. Okay, so there's the named mob. He is just a signature, so that's okay. I will wait for my debuffs to go ahead and get off me. I actually could use this. This is one you cannot use in combat, so it's actually something I should try to use out of combat just to use it, because it's the type of thing that will just sit in my inventory forever if I don't actually use it. I had a random piece of gear I saw that was equipable. It was an upgrade because I didn't have anything actually to replace it. And I'm just remembering, I crafted myself level 18 weapons as well. I could have been doing even more damage this whole time. Alright, 3 mobs. I do think this one would be a little bit better in the red line at this moment as well. I don't know that that's the case, but for some reason I'm just not really feeling hill line overall right now. And Finn, also thank you for joining the stream. Sounds like you have to go as well. But yes, I appreciate you stopping by the stream and chatting while you were here. Right, that was it for this barrow, so we can move on. I think that was it. I guess there was another path here. I got myself too interested after I said that was it for this barrow. I got myself too interested and I just have to check this out. It's actually a decently large path here and there's an open room. Cannot leave these mobs living here, which I am not sure they're living anyway. But at the very least, I want to kill them. Let's try. I'm going to use a potion just because I have so many, but just to be extra safe here. And Toru, you're wondering if champion is good in the game's current state, or are there better classes that outdo champions in their roles? Champions are pretty good. I think there are some classes that might be able to do a little bit more than them, but the champions are definitely good. So they're good for upfront AoE damage, and they're good for single target damage. I believe they also have really strong debuffs, or at least they used to. I have not played a high level champion or paid too much attention to if one of their big draws is that they still have Rend being a very powerful debuff. But overall, champion is not a bad choice. At the very least, it is definitely not bad in the current state as far as end game content goes. I'm making really good progress with this character's levels. I'll definitely get level 20 before I finish today. Again, that's the main goal, because there will be the new Old Forest quest chain in Wildwood that will be level 20. So the goal is to get this character at level 20 so he can do that and do of the Willow, the instance coming in Wildwood. So yeah, making good progress on the levels, but again, the main thing that I actually am wanting to do is just to get through the Barrow Downs, and getting the level is a sort of bonus Wildwood prep type thing. But while getting this character at level 20, I thought it would be fun to go on a questing adventure and make it a stream rather than just like... The other option basically for this character was to have him craft to level 20, which is something I could do AFK, and might take a while to do it AFK, but it also cost me a decent amount of gold, and depending on the server's resources available, it could have been a bit tough to get all that. But basically, this is a lot more fun than crafting to level 20, I think. And Bargus, I need a lot of Bargus, actually. I thought one of the barrels I went in had a bunch of Bargus, but maybe they don't have any eyes. And these ones do seem to have some eyes. Could be because the other ones were signatures. By the time I killed them, I just like mutilated their eyes too much, especially with the swords here, that they just weren't usable to actually gather. Which really is a gross thing. Thinking about these quests, I'm carrying around 5 sets of Bargus eyes in my inventory right now. I have to get 5 more for this bounty. There's some things like that with games like this and quests like this that you basically just have to ignore, or at least I basically have to ignore. But it's something, it adds a little bit of interest when it's something that kind of gross and unusual. I do admit that it does add interest even if it is gross. It's interesting because it's so gross. It's just similar to that Troll Saws questline where you're making some sort of like toad stew, which is already gross to begin with as far as I'm concerned, and then you add mushed crawler bits to it. And then the dwarf or whoever you're giving it to thinks it tastes extra good after you add all the crawler stuff. Hello, Mergler. You want to drop by and say thanks for my videos. You said they're always very helpful as a pretty new player. Well, I'm glad you find them helpful. That is a lot of my videos. I try to be just generally helpful like that. So thank you for that. And also thank you for wishing me to have a fun stream, which it is fun so far. And I hope the rest of the stream is fun as well. So we defeated Bone Man. I don't think there's anything I really need to do in this area. I can... As much as I would hate to avoid whites, just to avoid them, I can explore this a little bit just to show you all this area. It's actually a pretty big area. I don't know if there are any book quests that end up going here. It's been so long since I've done the Strider quests in Breland that I really don't remember, but it's just an area with a lot going on here. As far as the general zone questing, there's so little here. It has a little bit of the structure of the ruins and Lone Lands. It kind of reminds me of, I guess partially because of the evil. Where is Lone Lands? It takes me forever to get there. It reminds me a little bit of Agamar, actually, in some of the Garth of Garwan instances. But anyway, that is what is going on here and what we don't get to see doing the regular quests here. There's one of the Gaunt whites up there. Actually, that is a rare elite. Wow. I thought that he looked a little bit unusual. He's more of the, again, Gaunt type whites. So, we will try to kill that rare elite. I killed a rare elite master, one of the named NPCs in the Barrows earlier, so I assume this one should go by fairly easily for me, but still something that's a little bit concerning just coming across elite like this. I don't know if they have anything special that could kill me, and he stunned me. That is certainly of concern. Fortunately, it was not that long of a stun. Now that I killed the other mob there, I can focus on him. And I also noticed I'm actually above his level. I was doing a bunch of stuff under leveled at the start of Barrow Downs here, but there are so many quests and just so many things that I've been killing that I have gained 4 levels. And I was higher level than that rare elite. And it seems like I still am under leveled compared to the mobs here. I think they're 20 to 21. Looks like it is time to sell. Lock all my artisan and master. I randomly got a stun. I probably had a debuff. I wasn't paying attention to that since I'm focusing on selling right now. There we go. And that is one of the shard droppers there. Oh yeah, and speaking of shards, I guess I actually did find out all these rare NPCs in the barrows, they actually are not shard droppers, so that's not why they would be called rare. I still don't know if it's just something from back in the day, if they actually were rare and they weren't always there, or if it's just a way to distinguish them maybe. That they're like used for a deed or whatever. But as far as what I need to do, I don't know if I have all the bears and that type of stuff quests. I do, okay. So I will head to the southwest and kill any Bargus I see along the way. And yeah, that is what I will do. In the southwest, there are a lot of Huorns and I think bears, if I remember correctly. Might not be bears, but I think it's bears. And then there's also crawlers that I will be getting down there. Here are a couple Bargus. These should hopefully both have their eyes that I can collect. One thing I am actually curious for, the Redline Champion, it could be better at this level to get Battle Frenzy than getting, like, for example, I would have to lose 4% attack duration. As much as I love reducing my attack duration, I really feel like Battle Frenzy, it has a 1-minute cooldown though. That'd be the main concern, it having a 1-minute cooldown, but at the same time it adds immediate fervor. and it gives 1 fervor every 3 seconds. So that's the type of unusual thing. It's a useful trait, and I feel like particularly at this level and at this amount of trait points, I feel like I would rather that than 4% attack duration. Again, as much as I like as a sort of fun thing, having reduced attack duration, of course it's still useful. It allows you to attack faster and do more damage, so that part of it is nice. But I also feel like having more fervor would be really helpful with the red line, just because whenever I have more fervor than I need, I can always use Remorseless Strike, which is of course a strong skill. And I think, yeah, I just realized I missed these crawlers. Whenever you kill a bear here, some crawlers will come out of them, and that is a good method for getting all the large barrel crawlers here, for anybody maybe doesn't know. That's actually something when I used to quest here back in the day. It's one of the things I actually didn't know. I'd kill the bears and then I'd just hunt like large barrel crawlers, not knowing that they actually came out of the bears, which is probably why the bears are so angry, because they have these crawlers rotting them from the inside. Oh, I used my AoE. That was actually a delay. That was a little bit weird. I was like, I used my AoE and nothing happened, but it just took a minute. It did actually hit them. And then yeah, these are the ones that I used to would hunt down individually. But that was obviously a lot slower than killing the bears and then just getting the ones that pop out of the bears. One thing I'm curious on, I don't remember if this actually connects where you can go into the old forest. I thought at one point it was not, but then for some reason I thought it was. I don't know if it was something that was updated or if it never actually was blocked off, but I thought I remember another one of these back in the day things that it was blocked off, but maybe it never was. I like it not blocked because it makes the world a little bit more connected. This part of the Breland world, definitely. Okay, only got 2 crawlers out of that one, but yeah, these are spiders and this is the old forest. This is where this character is going to be going. So as a sort of Wildwood prep thing for the quest line here, I'll actually venture into the old forest just to get a little scout of the forest I'll be going into. There we go. As far as the instance location, that's actually something I'm curious on. I don't know in the beta if I ever could find where the Woe of the Willow is. That is the name of the instance, one of the instances coming up in Wildwood. But I don't know the location, if it's supposed to be like here or what's going on with that. Another thing I noticed is that actually looks like a little dock type thing. That's a little bit weird. I don't know if I've seen that before, if it will change in Wildwood. I don't think we can go down there, but I have to check that out just because I got myself too curious now. Guess if I have to kill spiders, they will count for deed at least while I'm down here. Okay, I'll have to make sure I can get my way back up. So I think I could go north to do that, but this drop down, it does not look like I would be able to jump back up, but maybe I could. There we go, broken legs, or broken horse legs. I feel like I have this very fancy armor on this level 19 character, but it's something, this is a new armor set that I've gotten on the server, and I'm pretty slow getting cosmetics. I totally took a wrong turn there. Wrong turn for a few reasons. There are a bunch of things chasing me now, but the main reason was actually just because I wanted to go west, did not want to go east. I'm surprised I have not gotten knocked off my horse yet. With all the mobs that were chasing me and all the hits I appear to take, I expected to just get like totally knocked off by now. Okay, so here is the little lake, and that is blocked off. That is what I thought was the case. I was just hoping that that was somehow not the case, and it's something I will check out in Wildwood, of course. I really did not actually pay attention to that, remember it in the beta at all, or definitely didn't try to go there. I didn't go into the old forest at all. So that is something that I will have to remember to check out basically once Wildwood is actually released. Now I have my cat on my keyboard where I can't really do anything. There we go. Okay, so I have to find my way back, and I think I said that I would have to go north. This cat is very distracting right now and getting all tangled in my headphone wires. Okay, I will just try to go this way. And it actually looks like this way worked. I have no idea how I got back here during all this, but I did. There we go. Oh, I got all my wires untangled, and I guess the cat got annoyed enough that she just ran away. But anyway, we can get actually back to... Wait, this is a different exit, right? I don't remember going in this way. Maybe there are a couple ways you can get to the old forest then. Yeah, I have not been down here yet. I was still making my rounds up to the north. Because down on this part of the southern Barrow Downs is where all the he-warrens are. And this is where I will get, I think, a couple things. Collect seeds is what I'm getting from these guys. Oh, I did not mean to use my heal there. I guess that's the unfortunate thing about it being in the keybinds where it wouldn't maybe normally be, and being where it was right next to my Battle Frenzy, it just made me go right over to it. But yeah, we'll test out Battle Frenzy. I should have that effect going right now. Actually test out if I can use Remorseless Strike and if it helps. But overall, I am suspecting that it will be helpful. Like right there, I can actually use Remorseless Strike again. I know at high levels, and even maybe right now, it's probably not the best thing to use, I would guess. I just accidentally used it again, but I actually do think Remorseless Strike versus Brutal Strikes at this level, Brutal Strikes will be better. And as far as I know, the Redline Champion gameplay at high levels, from the little bit I actually remember about that, is Remorseless Strike, even if you have enough fervor for it, you should not necessarily use it on cooldown. I think after every 5 other strike skills is when you can use it, because you'll have a higher crit chance with it. You build something stacking for it, and I think that is the way that works with the gameplay. So I'd prioritize a higher level when I have Ferocious Strikes. That would be like the highest priority, and then I would do Brutal Strikes, and then when those two are on cooldown, essentially that is when I would switch to Remorseless Strike. And that would basically work out as far as a sort of filler. It's a very strong skill, especially when you do crit with it, but it would almost be a filler as far as fervor consumers go after Ferocious Strikes and Brutal Strikes. That's at least what I remember for the Redline Champion. Basically the way it working. And I realize I am forgetting the crawlers again. This one's trying to run away. Sounds like there are some very angry bees. There's actually a bee nest right there. These mobs are pretty annoying overall. I know they're a big part of LOTRO with the he-warrens, but they are annoying mobs to fight. They're especially annoying if they have roots with them, which are a different mob type overall, but they're just like extra annoying together, I suppose. Roots are very annoying because they have ranged attacks. Even little green ones seem to be able to do high damage sometimes, and they can actually root you as well. I feel like just because I have the fervor now, I'm really overusing Remorseless Strike. Could almost be a hidden drawback of having this. I know I wasn't even using it, but could be a hidden drawback with me right now, just not doing the most optimal gameplay basically with that. Okay, so I need 2 more seeds from corrupted trees, and then I need 1 more. Oh, I thought it said collect corrupted. I thought it said collect corrupted seeds, and then the other one's collect seeds. So this one I am collecting seeds, the other one's just defeat. So one of the corrupted trees did not give me seeds. This one has a long animation still, Savage Strikes. That's another thing when factoring in what skills have the most DPS in LOTRO, animation time is actually pretty important because unlike some other MMORPGs, there is no like global cooldown. What almost serves as a global cooldown is the skill time, the execute time of these skills. So something like Savage Strikes there is very slow, and Brutal Strikes, for example, is way faster. So even if Savage Strikes actually did more damage than Brutal Strikes, it could perhaps be slightly worse to use just because of how slow it is. That is something to factor in when you're thinking about the strongest stuff and maybe creating a priority for your rotation for your character. And that's also actually similar with the champion. Wild Attack does more damage than Swift Strike, but it's such a slow skill that it's often, as far as Fervor Builders, it is my lowest priority Fervor Builder actually. Especially at the moment, even though the damage from it is nice, it is, I think as far as all of my skills go, my lowest priority. But I'm just really feeling the slowness from Savage Strikes right now. It's actually kind of crazy. I'm guessing if I compare Remorseless Strike to Savage Strikes, even though this is actually one of those cases that it looks like Savage Strikes does do more damage, I would probably prefer Remorseless Strike overall, especially because if I get the critical hit, it will deal the massive damage to that whole thing. Okay, what am I doing for quests? I need 2 more Angry Bears. I still need 1 more seed. I thought I killed another Corrupted Huorn. Either I did and it did not drop these seeds, or it did not, or I did not, and that means I didn't get seeds because I didn't even kill one. But either way, there's a Huorn there, so I can try that one and might run into more crawlers and bears along the way. It does look like I'm running a little bit low on crawlers, so I actually see one right there. And I see another one over here. And then I'll also get the bear here. This would be a great time to be in the yellow line with all this AoE, but I am not at the moment. I should have a couple extra crawlers attacking me though. Somebody, oh. So somebody asked in chat, is that Louis? I see. I thought they actually saw me in the game, but I guess they just logged on and saw I was playing. Okay, large barrow crawlers. Actually got done with that, so I am done with all the quests here. One thing, so thinking about sound effects in LOTRO, is I used to not think they were particularly amazing, to be honest. I always thought the sound quality, it was actually the first time I played LOTRO using any sort of headphones. I don't remember these being particularly good headphones or anything. But the first time I actually put on headphones was actually on my burglar in Barrow Downs, and I just remember how good the sound was. I don't think these sound effects are bad, so I should definitely say that. I just don't know, I don't really have anything to compare it against that I would say is particularly amazing, but I'm just thinking, in World of Warcraft, I had my video on that last week and talked about how all the sound was so flat. That is something I do not feel in LOTRO. All these sound effects are definitely much better in LOTRO, I think, now than in WoW. And I can really tell that playing a class like a champion in Melee here. Just how much I prefer the sounds of all my Melee stuff, basically. Quest turn-ins, I believe I should have just about everything complete. As in, I have everything complete except for Great Barrow quest, which I will head to the Great Barrow just because there's a slight possibility I might forget to actually explore it. So I'll do that as well. And then I can also check, actually it does look like I have all these quests completed, and as far as deeds go, I still should need Hod. Uh-oh. Tomb of Menator. Oh, this one's, okay, that's right there. Yeah, I should still have Executioner of the Wicked left. But there's still a couple barrows that I need to actually visit. But this will get me some exploration deed and all that. And Toby Gunn, yes, classic WoW, I agree, has better sounds than Shadowlands WoW. And I don't know exactly what happened to all the sound effects. I don't know. It just seems like every time they'd update them, I would actually dislike them or like it less. And it's just accumulated so much that I actually don't even like the sound effects all that much with all the abilities and stuff. So it's a little bit weird to me with that. I was thinking actually about doing something like Classic WoW, but because I have been having so much fun preparing for Wildwood, which is such an odd update. So Wildwood, of course, is not out yet, and that is why I'm preparing for it. But it's such an odd update because there's going to be level 20 content with the new Old Forest quest chain for the new Woe of the Willow instance, which is in the Old Forest. So even though you could do that on a higher level character to get the on-level experience, as it were, I want to have a level 20 character to do that and do Woe of the Willow at level 20 when it unlocks, or about level 20. This character could potentially be higher level than that by the time we get there. And the Zoran777, he said, you hope I have a giant screen with the UI settings so small. So actually with LOTRO, you can't really, well, I guess you can increase a lot of this stuff. But the scaling with the UI does not work all that well, so this is the base UI scaling at 1440p. And my screen is 32 inches, so I can see everything just fine, and this is actually the ideal UI size for me, basically. I like having my UI elements small. I like having the text small but readable. This is definitely readable for me, and it's also definitely small, so I actually really like this. I know in videos, especially if you watch on a small screen, it can be hard to see.
How can I be of service?
So I could definitely see that being a rough thing, but fortunately I have not had too many people complain.
What do you need?
Let's see, I randomly picked Weaponsmith today,
How can I be
so I might send that to an alt. I do not know. I have a Weaponsmith that could use that, and I feel like Weaponsmith would be the most useful one for me to have on an alt. Get all these quests again, maybe complete them again, maybe not.
What can I do for you?
Finish all these, purging the dead. Okay, that's Great Barrow.
What do you need?
I am level 20, so this character has finished his Wildwood preparation technically. Or efforts need me, I will accept that. But there's something I was talking about with Classic WoW. I was thinking about doing a stream. Oh yeah, I was having so much fun preparing for Wildwood, and then I was going about all the different content. But outside of the level 20 stuff, of course the zone, the region Wildwood, as a part of Breland, is level 45. All the quests there are level 45. So I had to prepare a character to get to level 42-ish, so I could start those quests and do them a little bit under-leveled. As well, kind of similar to what I was doing at the start of Troll Shells on my Hunter, and with this character, just a little bit more fun for me in general to go under level. I wonder if Fail Strikes, it's the same skill, it's just kind of the improved version. This one removes corruptions now. I wonder if the animation is just as slow, and it is just as slow. That is good to test. I don't have the exact numbers, but it looked like the exact same animation. I suspected nothing different. And one thing I'm very randomly curious on is, did I ever do this quest? And it does not look like I did. So I'll do this real quick. Ooh, I also got Clawbear. That's really nice. I think it's called Clawbear, right? Yep. So Clawbear, the only thing about this skill is it costs 1 fervor. But, oh, I didn't have enough fervor. That was actually the exact issue I was talking about. But you can use it to animation cancel. And animation canceling as a mechanic, it's something I'm not the biggest fan of, but the way combat works in LOTRO, I think it's definitely a good thing that important skills like interrupts you can use immediately, which means you will cancel whatever animation you're going through. But it basically means a skill like Feral Strikes, which has a long animation as I've been going over. I can use Clobber right after I use Feral Strikes and it'll just cut all the animation. I'll still get like the full effect of the skill, but I won't have to deal with all the animation time, and I'll get whatever effect of Clobber immediately, mainly unless I'm actually looking to interrupt for the damage. But I will point out, if you are like running group content or whatever where you actually do need interrupts from something like Clobber, you of course want to save it for that. But to maximize your damage and perhaps maximize your fun, that's the main thing with me. It just makes it more fun having something to do some things quicker. A little bit, speed up the gameplay a little bit. That's why I like animation canceling. As a mechanic, again, it's a little bit odd just because it's a little bit weird to just like cancel your animation of some skill you're using. It's almost a little bit immersion breaking in a way, but I don't really focus on it too much where I feel like that. But anyway, with that, while you can maximize your damage doing something like animation canceling in group content or whenever you actually need the interrupt, it's always important to save those for the actual interrupt. And we will go in this little barrow, which actually is slightly larger than I expected it to be, especially the map here is so tiny. And there is somebody here, unless I'm mistaken. That is a level 50. Who has his XP stopped and is here for some reason. I know there used to be a lot of level 50 stuff here. I have not done anything recent enough to remember what exactly it is that's here. But yeah, I think for what I'm going to be doing for the rest of the Barrow Downs, because I am basically done, except I need to search for Malin. I also have to turn in the Bone Man. Well, I forgot a couple things here. Forget where Malin is. Southern Reaches. Okay, I know where he is now. But anyway, outside of those couple quests, I will focus on the barrow. So I'll do this barrow, and then maybe after this one, I wonder if I should go the other way. That is the situation where I'd cancel what is now Feral Strikes, by the way, just to give an example of how that worked. At higher levels, a great one to cancel is... There are a lot of good ones in AoE that I remember, but Ferocious Strikes I think has a relatively long animation, but it might be the same as Brutal Strikes. But yeah, again, basically it speeds up the gameplay a little bit. And that's why if y'all see me just often in gameplay, that is stuff I do, and because I just got that, that's why it's such a big topic right now. That was a weird noise. I don't know if it was from the game or from something outside, somebody in like my apartment complex making a whistling like noise. Maybe this barrow is not as large as I thought. This turned into a dead end. Not as large as I thought based on when I first opened the map. I thought this was a relatively smaller one when I headed in here actually, so that is what it is seeming like, more like what I remembered. I wonder, I do not have trait points to spend. I did get my first set bonus. I didn't even pay attention to what that was. Increases skill damage per fervor pip. I did not actually know that that was a thing. I want to pay attention if I get a buff or something when I have fervor. Yep, there it is. I already have Emboldened Blades? I did not know I had Emboldened Blades either. Plus 0.2 damage from fervor, and then plus 4% melee damage. Is that actually how that works? It says on the tooltip here, it says increases champion skill damage by 5% for fervor pip. But the actual buffs I get here, these two fervor ones, maybe that adds up to 5% skill damage, but it seems like a little bit of an odd way to say that. I don't know the plus 0.2 damage from Fervor. That's a really weird thing that I'm just like randomly looking into with this class. I would have to actually look at the numbers, so let's do this one and then find a mob here. Hopefully it's a single mob. Okay, that is good. So I have 1 Fervor. The damage goes up by about 5%, so I think this is accurate. I have no idea what all this is supposed to mean to make it 5% damage, but it does make it 5% damage, I think. Unless this buff is unrelated and I actually get plus 5% and then like that plus 1% extra. Alright, I cannot let this Barrow Warden live over here. That felt like a fancy sequence, but I just needed something a little bit fancier. Oh, this is a time I probably should not have used Feral Strikes. I wonder, so on high level champions, I don't actually even have this on my main bar. It's on like a sidebar like this because it's mainly used as a utility to remove corruptions. I wonder if that's actually useful already at this point just because of how frequently I should use Brutal Strikes, and it seems like I should otherwise use Remorseless Strike, and I somehow ended up back at the entrance here. There's something a little bit odd. I thought there was a left turn at some point. Huh, that's a little bit strange. That's actually really weird. I wonder if I got myself turned around somehow, or what happened there. Did I come in over here? That wouldn't make much sense though. I really have no idea what actually happened in this barrow. My level is too low. That probably explains it. Okay. I think I came in over here. Maybe. Or... okay. I thought I already checked that, but always good to double check before I'd have to run way back if I did actually miss something there. But yeah, I'm glad to know I didn't go completely crazy with my directions there. And I think that's probably the thing level 50 was headed. And here is the entrance, and this definitely looks more like when I enter. There was a path to the left and a path to the right, and I took the path. I was going to take the path to the right, but then I took the path to the left. And then when I came back, I was going to the path on the right. Even though once I got through all this and there being an entrance there, an exit there, that made me all confused with the actual location of things. Wow, that was some pretty green. I guess there is some nice green here in the Barrow Downs during daytime, but it was just a little bit prettier picture with Gandalf in that loading screen than what we came out to and what we came out from. It was just nice to see some green after all that, which is, I think, how a lot of people feel with questing in Ingmar and all this such with that. So I think I will head back to the Bone Man because I have to turn that in. It's kind of funny, before I called him the Wandering Shade, one thing I actually call this guy is the Bone Man because he's not the Bone Man, but he has the quest for the Bone Man. And that's actually where I said I was headed to. I was headed to the quest turnip for the Bone Man. Oh, and this is a very random thing. I was just thinking about the lighting that's going on right now in my room. One thing is I am making some progress on getting something to put on the wall back there, basically. So unfortunately, there's nothing that I can really do that's LOTRO related. Everything that is an actual option is too low resolution, basically. So one thing I was considering was actually taking a screenshot of this and using that. Basically getting that printed on something to put back there, since a green screen does not seem feasible with my current setup. That's something I could try to do maybe way down in the future, but because I do think it would be nice to have a green screen, but I don't think that is the best option right now. Also, I don't know if I even realized this, how many green clothes I have. And like this is a comfortable like sweater type thing that is green. I would basically run into issues with some things like that. Potentially run into some issues with things like that, so there's also that concern. And I have to, he actually is up to the north again. Wow, that is very odd for me. But anyway, I have made some slight amount of progress, and this weapon is fairly nice, but I think I prefer my current weapons. The question is, do I want 10 agility or 3 vitality on a champion? And more specifically, on a level 20 champion. So I have to see what agility gives me, and I can't believe I'm even considering this. So first of all, vitality gives me about 5-ish, I think. Would be the best way to consider that. Hello, Vulgar TG. So anyway, this gives me like 15 morale, or 10 agility would give me like 10 critical rating. Okay, I somehow think 15 morale is more useful than 10 critical rating. The finger, I actually like mine, I think. The fate could be a little bit useful. That would also give me some critical rating. It'd actually give me 2-ish critical rating, 2.5 maybe, is what that's supposed to be. These stats used to be a lot nicer. Things used to give round numbers. Now, I don't remember exactly when this was, but they messed up vitality. As far as I know, at one point it gave like every class 5 morale, but now it's different for different classes. And even though it's roughly 5-ish, I think it varies from 4 to 5 if I remember correctly. And then some even have a decimal amount after that. It just makes it a little bit harder for it to be immediately obvious how much stuff gives in terms of morale and crit rating and things like that. But anyway, with fate, that would also give me some finesse. Very small amount here again with 10 fate. But I'd also get resistance rating. The tactical mitigation, while I am taking tactical damage, honestly 23 tactical mitigation is hardly anything, or even 29 is hardly anything. I do get 2 vitality, so that is like 10 health. 10 health and a little bit of physical mastery. I think this is such a silly thing because these are so small stats and they're basically hardly having any impact on my character right now. The main actually thing from this ring would be the resistance rating. And if that gives me a decent amount of resistance rating, I would say equip this one. Let me actually put that, so there we go. So the resistance goes to up to 8.6, which I do think is going to ultimately be the biggest effect of anything. So that is the way I process gear sometimes, even for a low level 20 character where it has barely any impact on anything going on at all. So this quest is ready to turn in. I can untrack the war quest, can untrack Purging the Dead, find Malin, he is right over here to the southwest a little bit, and Clifford Gears. So this is your first time catching a live stream and you love my prolific work on this game. Well, I'm glad you enjoy all that. And I do have a character on Langervold, but I don't really play there. I have a Warden on there, who I used to do a Let's Play on, but that was a long time ago. That was also a long time before Louisden, so that character is long abandoned. And I maybe once a year will log on that character, or a couple times a year, just to check stuff going on and check out the character again. Or if I'm looking specifically for like level 30 something Warden gameplay. And I realize I'm not in the yellow line, even though I pulled all of these mobs. So I will do as much AoE as I can do on a level 20 red line champion. What's the problem with having redline? I overall prefer the gameplay of redline, but it is the problem with just running around with redline and then I pull a whole bunch of whites like this. It definitely would be better and more fun in a huge AoE situation like that, of course, to be in the yellow line. I feel like that is the boss white. Like, he looks like he should be the king of Barrow Downs, or, well, the king of Barrow Downs, but even the king of Great Barrows, maybe. Just standing on top of the hill like that, looking very tough. Made him look like that. Okay, so quest-wise, I don't really care too much about the bounty quests. Those are just some extra side things I can do. I think I am ready to go to the next barrow, which is right here. And I don't think any quests I would have would actually give me reason to go back here if I like went and did turn-ins and then came back down here. So I will go ahead and head into this barrow, and this is probably going to be the longest barrow, the longest one for it last. And yes, it is the last one. So as far as the outlook for the stream, again, to me it is actually really weird because normally I stream about 2 hours, but it feels like I started the stream at like 6 o'clock or something. Even though it is 9, I started at 7 my time, which would be 8 o'clock server time. So it's like a little over 9 now. So this will probably be all I'll do today, just the champion. Again, I thought about potentially logging on my hunter, but doing the Barrow Downs with all these extra barrows and the quest from Southbury, it really is a good amount of content that I got to do and worked up to be a good play session, I think. It's just like a perfect little area for a streaming play session, I think, as far as the amount of time it takes, basically. These guys are going to actually do some damage to me. Another good thing with the whole animation canceling topic is... Oh, I got a quest item? Oh, yeah, I'll go ahead and accept that. Even though for some reason I thought I already accepted... Oh no, I reached the virtue cap? That is not good. That means I wasted a whole virtue level on charity. What do I want to earn next? Maybe wit for this character? This character I don't care too much about the virtues. Of course it would be nice to get good ones. Especially if this character does potentially ever reach endgame. But that is a problem with all my alts on Anor and all that, any new characters I make. I just don't really care about grinding their virtues or anything. And it would take me so long. It's a never-ending, basically, process of getting these characters to endgame. As in, I really doubt they ever will get to endgame. But it is possible. If I really start liking my hunter, for example, it is possible I could continue him long enough to actually get him to endgame level. But I say that at the same time, if I had the choice to go through whatever endgame regions on, say, my hunter versus my warden, if I just had time to do one character, for example, I would probably end up doing my warden, so that would be one problem with that. The thing I would probably do on my hunter, if I did decide to continue it a lot after Wildwood, is I would probably abandon it after Rise of Isengard, to be honest. Because Rohan is not my favorite. West Rohan especially. And you need to do West Rohan for the trait points. Really, oh, I do have some consumables for this character. I could actually probably get some consumables out of these things. Let me clean up my inventory a little bit and I will do that. Still have the most OP item. Yeah, we already compared 10 agility versus 3 vitality. Such tiny stats and such a major amount of time spent on the comparison. Gift for a homeowner. Well, I got some potions at least for that one. Got some more potions for that one. And I cannot open the next one. It looks like that is all I had. I was hoping to get some limbas or something. Or, I don't think they're called limbas. Maybe they're... Oh, Daleman's Crams, that is what they're called. The consumables that I thought you got on a lot of characters. Maybe it's just from Hobbit Gifts that I'd get them on. But it seems like all my characters have those. Except this character did not get any. I thought they were from these leveling boxes, but it's possible that is not the case. Alright, so this is a little side path. that is the entrance. This is where I can either go left or right. I would say right is more interesting now, but I have to think about on the way back. And on the way back, I'd rather save the more interesting stuff for that. We'll get the more annoying mobs out of the way first. Okay, I got him before he did his little burrow type thing. It's not really a burrow, but other burrowing type mobs do that. Got him as well. They kind of fade where you can't attack them. He stunned me. I do have my stun remover now, but I did not feel the need to actually use it right there. Barely killed him. I don't know if he was doing an induction. It seemed like one that did damage to me rather than doing an induction to make himself fade, but it's just something with these type of mobs that can be particularly annoying sometimes. And I just noticed the one that did it, so I'm being a little bit more attentive, I guess, to that. I really am. I feel like I'm killing things a lot faster now that I'm level 20. I didn't get much new gear, of course didn't get any extra trait points to spend or anything like that, but I did get, again, Clobber. I know I've talked about that with all the animation canceling stuff a lot because I got it and that's what it's good for, but I actually do feel like that's really helping me kill things a lot faster as well. And I think I do notice overall actually getting Battle Frenzy. This is something I made a Redline Champion guide, I think it was Redline Champion, a while ago. And that's something I pointed out, I think. I really don't remember, it was so long ago. I think I pointed that out. That it's something you could get if you really want to get Fervor, because that is true and I always try to point things like that out. But I don't think it's something I picked for my actual build that I did throughout that guide, and it is actually something playing a low-level champion like this again, that it is something I actually think is useful for the red line to spend 2 trait points in the yellow line and delay everything else by 2. The only time I would reconsider that is when I could get Ferocious Strikes, and I'd have to actually test that if I enjoy Ferocious Strikes or basically getting the Fervor with Battle Frenzy at that point into the trait tree. And the Zorn777, you are from Gladden. I do like your numbers and your name, but you like Fidelity, and if I remember correctly, that is a tactical mitigation virtue. Let me see what that one says. So normally for my virtues, I really like Loyalty as just a generic thing that I can get on every character. It's not the strongest at low levels, but by the time I get to high level, it's more of a long-term investment for my characters. I also like Wit because a lot of low-level characters can use the Finesse, and even at high levels, when you have essences to balance out your stats, this gives Finesse and critical rating, which is good, and then the Mastery on top of that. So it's kind of the secondary thing, the more offensive thing that I think is good investment for long-term for characters. And then you mentioned Fidelity, which again, I think is tactical mitigation. Yeah, that's a good one if you want the tactical mitigation and tiny bit of physical mitigation, but also the vitality is a little bit there. It's something I used to recommend, the tactical mitigation virtues, a lot more. Oh, so Clifford, if you can clarify, by Tom's house, is this actually Tom Bombadil's house? And if so, I honestly did not know that. That is news to me. But yeah, it is a nice transition because it is, the way you actually go through it in the game is you go through the barrows, through the cave, and then you go to the bottom of the house. That seems like the opposite of what you might expect, as you go through the house, then you go to the basement or whatever, and then you're in the barrows and the tunnels after the house. But that is not the case here. It is the opposite. I really like having signatures in landscape content. I know this is probably technically listed as like small fellowship if there's any sort of difficulty associated with this place. and associated with these quests. Yeah, the Grave Moss and Prey on Darkness, both of those are small fellowship. But these type of quests are really fun to me because they're a little bit more challenging, but it's not like optional challenge. I've gone about this a lot, is I like to make my characters as optimal as I can for whatever I have without like going way out of my way to grind them very OP stuff at level 20, but I like craft them gear basically, and crafted gear is very strong at low levels, especially below level 50. Somebody drained all my power. I don't know if it was me, but I'm guessing it was some sort of ability this guy used. And I should have tons of power potions, so I should feel safe using those. But anyway, content like this, it's just the difficulty of the content. I think it is fun to go through solo, because it does almost have that forced slower pace that I can't really do anything about. Don't know if I want to use a health potion. I'm more looking towards using a power potion. I really want my debuff remover. I don't know when you get that. I feel like it's something I should have just because I'm so used to all my characters having it. Oh, I do want to use a health potion. Okay. Tier 2, Tier 3, or Tier 2? Well, don't need Tier 2 twice. I don't know if there's anything I can do right now besides die, because I am out of power. Oh, I can use my free revive, though. I was out of power and out of morale, so it seemed like my option was to die right there. Or get incapacitated, as it's called in LOTRO. I don't think you technically die. It would be interesting if there was a mechanic that actually killed you in LOTRO. I think the way that would work is you would have to delete your character. Okay, so Clifford, you go to Tom Bombadil's house after questing through the Old Forest, then take the Old Barrows road out. If you can actually get here from Tom Bombadil's house, I also did not know that. I haven't done, as far as the Bombadil questline, if I remember that is what it is, and also the book quests, as far as those go, I have not done those in forever, and I don't even know if I have done them, because of the way I played the old LOTRO is a little bit different than what I do right now. So I'm not sure I have done those, so I don't really remember a lot of that type of connection. I just remember mainly the landscape quest, which I find the landscape quest very fun still, but sometimes I miss connections like that because of it. So there's the PC, the named one, for my power and morale to restore a little bit, kill that light. We cannot have balls of light shining up this place and brightening it up. So Dr. Arn, you've been doing stuff in northern Barrow Downs, and yeah, Barrow Downs I think is underrated. A lot of the low-level stuff, I guess because people see it so much, it's a little bit more normal stuff, normal in quotes. I think because of that, a lot of lower level places are underrated. One that I feel like is underrated as well is Lone Lands, just for how overall good it is. There's nothing too spectacularly amazing about that zone, but I also feel like it's underrated as a zone overall, and it's something I think I underrate just because, again, it doesn't have anything that really makes it stand out, but all of what there is, nothing is bad in it, I don't think. Actually, I feel like Gartha Garwin Agamar, that place should stand out a little bit and be a little bit spectacular. I really like that place as well. So I don't know if you're saying Fornos, the huge areas there, if they have caves as well, because I don't remember actually Fornos having caves and barrows like this. It is possible that it does. If it does, I have not actually been in them, but perhaps what you were saying, the way I'm reading it, is maybe oh, I was looking at chat and then just saw my character go down. I thought I randomly died from debuff, so I was looking over at the chat. I think I should go ahead and use some of my consumables. Do I have any of the random boosts that I get? I have damage boost, but I don't need to boost my damage. Also don't need to use a Tome of Defense. Oh, I interrupted the wrong one. Oh, that's unfortunate. I should focus on getting one down, though. Oh, here, this is the first one that has actually successfully faded like that in a while. Alright, I will try to just pull the Barrow Spirit here. That was not successful. Hello, Cosmic Star. Oh, that's when stuns feel the worst. So when you're either in the middle of an induction or in the middle of an animation like that on a champion. A Cosmic Star, I am playing on... What was that? Gaunt Plague Bearer. Okay. I am playing on Anor right now for this character. Again, I am preparing for Wildwood by trying to get level 20. As you all probably see, I did successfully get level 20. So I am prepared for Wildwood on this character. There is... Again, just because it seems so unusual that I'm doing Wildwood prep on a level 20 champion, there will be the new quest chain for the Woe of the Willow, which is one of the new instances coming in Wildwood, and that quest chain is level 20, so I want to have an on-level character to do that, and try not to over-level this character too much. He will be getting 21 at least. But as far as the rest I have to do on this character is actually go out of this barrow and then do a bunch of turn-ins, I think. There is the chance I'll have to come back to Barrow Downs after going to Southbury. I don't remember specifically having to do that. But for some reason I have it in my head that I might need to do that. I don't know if it's an NPC here that is draining my power or just all these abilities I've been using are costing all that power. Oh no, I really almost died there as I was looking. Used a potion to be safe, but yeah, that debuff, this one drains power 48. And then I think when I enter it, it might drain a little bit as well. Yeah, that definitely drains some when I enter it. So I think whenever they put that down. So Cosmic Star, if you make a character on Anor, you could join me, but as far as what I am doing today, I am almost done and there's nothing really too much to join me with right now. Mainly because, again, I am actually almost done with the content I have for today's stream. I feel extra energetic today, I guess after yesterday. I was still recovering. For anybody unfamiliar with my last stream, I talked that I got the COVID vaccine 2 days ago. I think it was making me a little bit tired during my stream 2 nights ago. It was making it hard to focus on the content. I kept messing things up with challenges with my kin. And that was the big story of that stream basically. But yesterday, I was basically knocked out and tired all day. I feel extra energetic, so it seems like I actually want to keep going, even though I've already gone 2.5 hours. Ooh, I'm about to die. Actually, it could be a good thing if I die, to be honest, just because I can get out of here quicker. And, okay, I'm going to use a power potion. I don't want to purposefully die. I can still try to work my way out of here. It would be faster, but this is okay. I wonder where my map home is. Selendum, okay. I guess I never actually changed that. Yeah, I can work my way out of here. I was just wondering if it was actually worth the investment too. Do that. And I notice, Cosmic Star, I guess you are mentioning Discord, that I noticed that for some reason, Discord did not turn streamer mode on, which is really weird because usually I have that basically permanently enabled just because I don't like notifications. If y'all are hearing some weird pounding noise that is not my keyboard, I believe that is some dogs making a lot of noise. at my apartment. I think whenever people come up the steps with their dogs, that is what makes that noise. Just waiting a little bit on my morale. Fortunately, usually when I am waiting like that, I at least can use some consumables or something, but not at this point. Something I'm not really used to, not used to actually having a character where I just have to stand for a minute of combat. One thing I can look at for this character, so for example right now while I'm waiting for my morale and going along, is my Slayer deeds. That's not what I was going to look at, but that is something useful to look at. Yeah, I have a lot more to do of those. I did already complete Breland Adventure on this character. But my class deeds, that's what I was thinking about actually looking at. Especially, my morale is taking a long time to actually go up here. Champion's Challenge, I have used that not that much, 43. Wow, I have used this, I guess I maybe used it to pull mobs. I'm surprised I have used it that many times on this character though. That is a lot, considering how relatively rarely I think I'd use it besides actually pulling an enemy. But anyway, with my other deeds, all I looked at there was actually a challenge, especially while we have this guy fading in and out. And I do want to build my morale for this last-ish pull. For the next pull, at least with the 3 signatures there. And I just noticed that I'm actually over-leveled compared to the regular mobs. Now I know that rare elite I was over-leveled compared to it. Wild Attack, I'll use that a lot. Ebbing Ire, Battle Frenzy, I'll use that a lot. Savage Strikes, I will use that, which I believe Savage Strikes would count. Barrel Strikes should count that now. It is something I probably wouldn't use all that much, to be honest, though. I'm actually trying to work myself into not using that anymore. Okay, critical hit enemies should get that with Brutal Strikes, Blade Wall. Use that a lot. It looks like it'll have me use it a lot, though. Rip to Shreds, that... Okay, all these ones that are yellow are probably definitely good. What I do want to test is, this would totally be broken with Champion, so I definitely do think we'll have Barrel Strikes progress that. Yep, 262. But yeah, it's something with my characters, just because I haven't done too many low-level characters like this lately, is I haven't actually had to focus on class deeds like that, so it is something I should keep in mind with this character, just to use Barrel Strikes every once in a while. Even though it does have a long animation, it may not be technically the best skill to use. A lot of these times it's something that is best to use, as in it will unlock me deeds, though. Unlock me deeds. I mean, it will help me complete the deed. I don't think it'll unlock many deeds. I don't think it is going to be worth me trying to get 7 more Bargasites just to complete that bounty, especially because I am actually slightly concerned about this character's XP. Not really concerned, but I don't want to get way over-leveled compared to the Old Forest questline that will be coming up. I wish I had a mount that matched this type of outfit. I don't think I have anything that is close to the sort of outfit that I have. A lot of the mounts I have seem to have green colors going about them. I can look. There might be actually one that I do have that could match. Where are my mounts? K. This panel for some reason always wants to open, but Steed of the Alliance of the Third Age. This one might actually match a little bit better. Yeah, I actually do like this one, so I'll go with this one. Have a better match. If I had a greenish outfit, the other one could be okay. I do like the Steed of the Hammerhand. Steed of the Elder. I forget what that one looks like as well. This one could be even better for all I know. This is a mount. I don't like that one too much, to be honest. I don't know if it matches quite as well as this one either. The only sort of annoying thing about this mount is maybe how big and poofy the tail is. I don't think it's too annoying, but it's just something that maybe bothers me a little bit if I pay too much attention to it. But otherwise, the goldish parts of the mount seem to match fairly well with the goldish parts of my armor. And considering you can't always get perfect mount to cosmetic armor matches in LOTRO, I will definitely take what I have with this one. Especially considering what I had before actually paying attention, and then I realized maybe there is something I can get that is better. Huge improvement over what I used to have. I spent so long throughout this character and throughout this stream to not use that Virtue XP because I was going to send on my Warden, who I think could get a little bit more use. It's only 20 Virtue XP, so it's not that much, but I thought my Warden could get a little bit more use out of it. So that's what I was saving it for the whole time. This spear is an upgrade for this character. I'd probably craft him level 22 weapons, but I will lock that just in case. Look at all this gear just in case there is something. Actually, that level 22 bracelet would also be a big upgrade for this character. Circlet of Men, don't really need that. Above Weathertop, don't need that, but I will lock them because they're unique-ish type things. This actually looks pretty neat out here during sunset. I think during all the night to day phases and all that, I have somehow avoided sunsets and sunrises while out here. But yeah, it gets decently orange here in the Barrow Downs, or at least on the edge of the Barrow Downs. Maybe that's one of the problems, I haven't been on the edge of the Barrow Downs during all this.
What do you need?
Wow, I finished 2 of these. That's actually pretty decent. One last chance. Collect the Cardolan treasure. Oh no, there actually is one more quest. I knew this was a quest anyway.
Could I speak with you?
Okay, so we aren't actually done, which is okay. I just thought I was actually getting pretty close to being done with this, and I was going to start my whole outro, which always seems to take me 20 minutes, but yeah, I'll go ahead and do this quest. Should be pretty quick to get to. And yeah, even though we are still at dusk time, most of the orangeness went away, and we have the gloominess of the Barrow Downs going on right here, which makes it immersive with the environment. I definitely would think it would be super weird if the sky was all bright orange while in here. So yeah, I do have to actually go back down here to the south. I just totally forgot this quest when I was talking about earlier, this region in the southeast here. I totally forgot about this quest, that there actually was another one other than the Bone Man. Definitely want to mine that gold deposit. That is one of the few things. I don't have my jeweler all that well progressed on the server. Besides the scholar, which I have never really gotten too much into scholar in LOTRO as far as vocation goes. But the jeweler is one I would actually eventually maybe like to do. And just getting the gold ore there that I saw was definitely useful, I think. And just useful, I mean, to pick up the ore as I see it, definitely. It's not something, I think focusing on the questing in streaming makes me focus less on resources, because if I just like play a character and not streaming, sometimes I have a problem of hunting down resources and spending more time hunting resources than actually questing, so I've tried to avoid that today. But when I just run across them, kind of like how I do on Louisdom, basically when I run across them I'll actually pick them up, but not go too much out of my way to pick them up. Especially ones I don't need. I feel like that's a problem I have sometimes, is even ones I don't need. Sometimes I'll do that. Okay, so got that ready for turn-in. That was very quick. Again, don't care too much about the repeatable quests. I'm definitely fine with not doing those. And then as far as deeds go for Barrow Downs, I should be having good progress on a lot of those. So if, for example, this character, if I did want to do some deeds on him, I have a lot of good ones that are on advanced that would get me basically a ton of virtue XP and quite a bit of LOTRO points as well. And broken legs. I don't know why, whenever I fall, I always like to call it broken legs. Or that it like breaks my character's legs or whatever, even though I don't even have that debuff anymore, even though it's just like an injury. It just sounds and feels and looks like a broken legs type thing. Of course, in this case, it would again be the horse that's actually having the broken legs. And I guess we're fortunate enough that in Middle Earth, broken legs repair themselves in either a few seconds or even up to a whole minute, but pretty rapid recovery there. One thing I can do on this character is, if my nose can not itch, is open all these gift boxes. It will take a minute and hopefully not flood my inventory too much. These are the potions I was actually looking for earlier. That's kind of funny that they came in these year gift boxes. Got some mounts and mount appearances as well. But opening these, y'all can see I get all these black steel keys from that. And now that this character is level 20 and can open the loot boxes, that's why I save 4 loot boxes on every character basically.
I'm sorry.
Now I can do that. So now I need to head to South Bree, and I forgot to change my milestone. I believe there is one right outside the gates of South Bree. I definitely should have done that. I didn't even think about that for this character, but it is a pretty swift travel overall, so that is okay. At least if I don't have broken legs, it's pretty quick. And I can go ahead and consume all this stuff. But maybe even right now I'll go ahead and open these. Just so we can see what I get. I got a universal ingredient pack. I did get a weapon, but I don't think these weapons are all that good. It's almost a nice thing. The gear from loot boxes, it's nothing to really make you want to buy them. And I will say, just because I am doing this, I am not a fan of loot boxes. This is just something, again, because I get this stuff. On these characters, I get 4 of the black seal keys from all those year boxes for free per character. That is why I save up the 4 loot boxes. And that is basically all of the excitement that I need. I wonder, did I not have Journeyman Riding on the whole time? I've acquired Apprentice Riding and Journeyman Riding. I wonder how I would have missed that. Oh, I know why. Okay. So, yeah, I could have been going faster on my horse the whole time. I actually noticed it now that I have the faster speed. But anyway, this character, we were doing the leveling race and the rule was no mounts. Just to ensure everybody was on kind of a level playing field. So I hadn't actually used the Journeyman Riding, so I didn't get that boost, and I guess I never bothered to actually activate that. I believe one of these is already unlocked, but I'll go ahead and do this one. And then open this one. Didn't even pay attention. Seed of the Unearthed Kingdom. That's actually an interesting thing. I don't know what that steed looks like. That's actually a relatively decent looking cloak, I think. I'm not really a big fan of hooded cloaks though. That would be the only problem. I would personally maybe see with that for myself. I did get a ring, and I think this one will be a quicker analysis of me just saying the new one with might, vitality, and crit defense is better than the fate and resistance one. I also got motes of enchantment. That's actually the perhaps most exciting thing about loot boxes on a low level character like this that I get, is basically it gets me some motes of enchantment that I can use for starlit crystals and scrolls of empowerments for my high level characters. The max tier ones, that is.
How can I be of service?
Greetings.
And this character is a high elf, and he is high enough level. Hopefully he has enough reputation. That would be the big concern right now. Miscellaneous gifts, or maybe I'm at the wrong one.
What do you need?
Or maybe they have the same thing and I'm just not going to. Here, return to Bree. I need kindred standing, so I can barter for that. No, I cannot barter for that. Usually that's grayed out if you don't have enough reputation, so I do need kindred standing. Let me use my carnelian trinkets. My new deed is allied. New deed kindred. Okay, so I completed friend and I am on allied. Let's see, I should get a lot of these. I can go to the skirmish camp. To finish out my reputation, I will go to the skirmish camp. And I think for some sort of knocking, it almost sounds like somebody's hammering something. But I think for the rest of the stream, I am basically done with the actual content I am doing, which is probably pretty obvious, but I will go to the reputation guy at the skirmish camp and see what all I need for the reputation. For the, what are they called? Carnelian trinkets, maybe? But as far as an outlook for the future with my content, let me go ahead and pull up the right panels. And then I need to talk to, don't think provisions, this one.
How may I be of service to you?
Whenever Wildwood actually releases, which again could be Wednesday or Thursday, I think some people suspect Thursday because that is when the spring festival starts, but I also think it could be Wednesday. I should actually pay attention to the number I need, but this is okay. Okay, after this set, I will actually look so I don't buy too many. And I need 2 more. Wow. I just need a 100 more reputation than one of them gave. But anyway. Yeah, when Wildwood comes out, of course, I'll cover the patch news for that. And I hope to work on a video covering the changes from the first round of beta as a little bit of a heads up, but honestly at this point that might not actually happen before Wildwood. We actually get the patch notes, so maybe I will not do that video. And then there are a lot of hidden changes, at least in the beta. There are a lot of things in the beta that were not actually put into the patch notes, so that is something I would also be interested in covering after Wildwood is released and after actually getting all those patch notes. So there are just a couple news-related videos that I could do there, of course, with Wildwood coming up that I have plans for. There are also some other kind of new video types I want to try with Wildwood. One being an instance overview. Not really an in-depth instance guide. I think some other people on YouTube might do those. Usually with raid content, I think I see that type of stuff pop up, but something with a little bit less depth and a little bit more. Did I just get a 9th year frame, or did I just use that on this character? I always actually use, if I pay attention, I always try to use Blaze of Hope. That is my favorite frame I have. But anyway, some new stuff maybe with Wildwood, of course, so that's all exciting and coming up soon. Soon-ish, hopefully. That is the plan, at least. The steed, I would have to look at the LOTRO wiki to actually see. It is inspired by the ancient kingdom of Khazad-dûm, and it is a steed, it is not a goat, that I can tell, at least. But anyway, I believe that is all I really have. I probably don't want to take the time to log on a new character. I could have logged on my hunter real quick, but that would just delay me actually getting finished with this. But this character is ready for the Old Forest quest chain. I probably will clean out his inventory, keep him in Bree so I can get the subscriber town services, so I probably won't go ahead and travel there. But when Wildwood releases, I will be focused on my hunter and the actual quest content. This is just something I can do on the side at a later time, maybe. Maybe after like the first release day in one of my streams, I could include it. I don't know how long the Woe of the Willow quest chain will be, but that is what this character is prepared for, and that is of course what I was doing this stream for Wildwood preparation. Kept wanting to say reputation. But yeah, that is all coming up, and as far as this stream goes, I hope you all enjoyed the low-level content and actually playing a champion, which was also weird, and I enjoyed the champion, enjoyed the gameplay today. Again, there are a lot of things with the champion that I talked about throughout this, reasons I think I can enjoy the gameplay more than I used to, and why I think it was also good to get back to playing a champion and actually just like regular leveling questing on them. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed that, and hope you all enjoyed the Barrow Downs content. I think that's a very fun place to quest and level. It's one of my favorite. There are so many, actually, places. I like Northern Barrow Downs, and, I like Northern Bree, and I like Barrow Downs as both options for level 15 to 20. They're very different overall, though, and Barrow Downs is definitely very fun and exciting as far as the questing goes. But anyway, I hope you all enjoyed that with all that content and all the stuff in the stream. And if you did, please consider liking and subscribing for more, or becoming a channel member to support